Obi, always a pleasure, man.
Always.
Do me a favor, you're back at 2?
Of course.
All right, me and this man, back at 2 o'clock. But right now, 2 of the most handsome gentlemen that we have on set right now, besides Obi. Me, I'm just here. It is Sharif. It is Joe. It is the Midday Madness. We love it, and so do you. Ciao till 2.
Yeah. I'm really rich.
When did you like that again?
Thank you, Ram Ram. Boom. Greetings and salutations, beautiful people. Welcome to the Midday Show. That's your boy, Joey Options, and I'm Sharif. And I know it's going to take a little bit of time for YouTube to wake up and bring everybody on over. It is, you know, a holiday shortened week. But we already have Darwin, the OG trader, Nygaard's in the house. Shout out to Others Inc. I want to say Gold, Trading, Wizard, and Gorev. We got User. We got Andrew McVeigh. Oh, Timothy McVeigh? I mean, Andrew McVeigh.
Oh.
Omari, you don't even get that reference, do you?
I don't.
It's okay, we'll talk about it after. TX Badger, we got Wyatt, we got Oki, we got Sam4871. How about Uplift Markets? And I can't even read that. I tried. We got Dijon, Fedora Day Explorer, JC Quengi, Mint, Cornetto, 1320 Wolf. We got, who else, man? The Master Cool. He's very cool. Tsunami Trader. We got T-Money. Who else? Smoke Tuna. We got Omar. We got Outlaw Trader and Wyatt, Andrew Chow, Lai Hong, and Roof Ninja. Shout out to TJ Morty. We're going to do one more, Joey. We're going to go Britt Brendan, 9737. Ram, good morning, everybody, and good morning to you, brother.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. What's up, Mike P. DeRider? I hope everyone's having a fantastic day. Not much to really get into because I've taken 0 trades on today's session. I'm just posted up, being patient, looking for some good opportunities. I was looking at the long here on TSLL, posted up at 2135 after this candle was printed, and it just kind of went my way, and I wasn't going to chase it. I should have got in at 2140s, but that shoulda, coulda, woulda. So we're just waiting. We're going to sit on our hands. We got Netflix continuing to climb a little bit higher, and up to 94.60. We like that look. NVDA hanging around that 192 level. That's not too bad whatsoever. But the Nasdaq and the the Nasdaq and the SPY relatively cool here today. Silver putting in a new high of the day as well, up to $69. So not too bad of a look, guys. I don't got too much going on, and we're gonna reduce the size a little bit. Yesterday, Christmas festivities, and then sure enough, we're heading into the weekend. So with that being said, only prime time A++ setup. So with that, it's going to only be a couple of trades, right? So I'm going to be looking at some other names. RGTI starting to slowly curl over. Shreve brought me the quantum space this morning. Selling aggressively, but now starting to rebound a little bit. Robinhood up to 120. We like that. And we were talking about SLV. These are the names that I got on my list today, guys. TQs, SPY, NVDA, Robinhood, Tesla, SLV, RGTI, and Netflix. A nice curl up here, guys, on NFLX. How does this look on the 5-minute time frame? Not too bad. A bunch of buying pressure within that first half hour within the open, and then sure enough, bang, you're continuing to climb a little bit higher there, guys. Why is it my position? Oh, it better not have. Oh, Sharif,
your charts are stressing me out, bro.
Yeah,
some of them are white, some of them are black.
Dude, it does this every day.
Making me very anxious.
I'm telling you right now, every day I have to come in, I reset it, I do it all over again, and then I come back. Dude, this morning I'm like, what's going on? It doesn't show any of the pre-market information whatsoever. So yeah, this stuff is absolutely chaotic. I can't do anything about it, but just try to stay calm, cool, and collective. By the way, I'm swinging some Netflix right now. I'm in it long term, and I'm swinging some. My price is $93.44.
I hope you print up a store. You realize this, right? In every trade that you take, I want you to do well.
Yeah.
I honestly
I feel like a butt's coming.
No, there's no but. There's no but. I genuinely want you to do well, right?
Like, yeah, why would I? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. I just want to make that very clear. But here we go, guys. There's a whole lot moving, so let's get right down to it. Thank you, guys, for GSIT. The OG Bovin pointing that one out as well. FJet is going. So let's start top left-hand corner, UPC. This one was I guess, doing well. It was halted up when I saw it. It was above 706. It pops up to 720. It is down halted now at 594. It's below VWAP, which is at 6 1/5, but it's above the 10 moving average, which is at 5 3/4. It's still up a little bit less than 40% on the day. Let's see how this one ends up trading once it's open. FJet. Nobody is going to be shocked by FJet. This was an IPO back from the 18th. It had a good couple of days. Specifically, I'm talking about the 22nd, of course, the 23rd, not so much the 24th bupkis. Today, I want to say it's decent. It's up 31 1/5. It's kind of putting in this gnarly looking bull flag, which does have lower highs and seems, for the moment, to have support in and around 16. There really hasn't been any closing prints south of 16. It is a bit spready. You need to account for that on FJET. So that one will be in focus. PAVS just rocketed it up into the high of the day into 209. This looks really good. 32 1/4, 32, zigging, zagging. Essentially a 210 high with key area of support south of VWAP, south of the 10 EMA, but a very, very identifiable price action level. That level, of course, is $1.90. We haven't been below $1.90 since 9:50 this morning, and there it goes into the high of the day. More HODs on PAVS, 215. This one's looking at setting up bull flag number 2 on volume. This current candle, for the moment, has over 200,000 shares. It keeps making higher highs. Every time I look at this, 216 now. PAVS in focus here in the world of small cap gappers. INHD is hot garbage, not setting up properly. We're probably going to remove that. These ones are inverse ETFs, right? So as Joey mentioned, quantum week today. So some of the inverse quantum ETFs like your QBTZ, RKLZ, etc., they're going to be up nicely. So if there is nothing for me to trade, we'll likely get into some inverse quantum names. But this one here, Ram, I couldn't understand why XPEV was up in the morning. I looked, I saw it on my watch list. It was up 3%. Now it's like 6 or something. Let me just quickly look over here. XPEV is 7 1/5. I don't know why it's running. I looked, I tried to find news on my blotter, I tried to find news in some of the EV publications that I follow. Bupkis. In any event, 21.18 high, trading marginally below 21 at the moment, but generally defending that volume weighted average price, which is at 20.95. Some other technical levels of note, the volume weighted average price a little bit below that 20 3/4, but XPEV, obviously not a small cap gapper, but I just wanted to bring it to your attention. You know, it's got that small gapper high end price in the 20s, and then we'll see what this one does. But this one looks good. This is the one that Yannick brought to my attention. It's still not huge on volume, or is it? Let me just find out over here. No, it's not. It's about 2 million shares. Maybe I need to be a little bit more contextual, because it's going to be a slower day today, so maybe 1.96 million shares ain't all that bad. In any event, it seems to be respecting the higher lows, higher highs sort of setup. So I'd be more inclined to want to trade this as an upward channel, getting in near the low end of the range, wetting the beak towards the high end of the range there, and then, saving a piece always for that breakout trade above currently 7 1/4. We'll see where that range takes us last, but certainly not well, maybe least, who knows. AMCI, this one was good to me for a short while on Friday, and then we couldn't punch out of it, and then we got in all sorts of trouble. So I'm going to be taking, if I trade this, underline that word. If I trade this, it's going to be a substantially smaller size given the kind of networking issues we had with this one last time. In any event, it doesn't even look like it's the best of the bunch. 1193 high. It did test Friday's closing print, bounced off it aggressively off 9 1/3. That is where we closed out on Friday, and now we're kind of trading a little bit above the volume weighted average price, but below $11 for now. So those are the ones that are going to be in focus. We'll see if there's anything else that comes to my attention. Oh, there is. Oh, whoa. Here we go, Joey. We're going to take off INHD, the hot garbage, and we're going to put ASPC. It is halted up. ASPC, the #1 gapper in the market, at least for now, halted to the upside at 33.28, up 148% on the day, having done 2.53 million shares, which ain't all that bad for a $33 name on a day where we're likely not going to have that much volume. I haven't taken a look at this one to see what the spread is or how to trade it, at least for now. So we're going to keep an eye here, Joey Options, on ASPC. Looks like it's breaking aggressively here midday.
All right, man. Nice stuff. All right, let's take a look at some of the top performing sectors here this morning. We're going to kick it off with materials leading the way. You're up 0.5%. The tech sector, 0.36%. The consumer staples relatively flat here, guys. And then the healthcare, small negative, just a little bit under 0.8%. Excuse me. Now for all the bottom three, the industrials 0.23, so we'll call it a quarter there. Energy sector 0.38, and then the consumer discretionary 0.42. So only a couple green. The tech sector hanging on there, guys. As you can see, market cap, you can see that NVDA is still leading the way at 4.5 trillion. We have Apple at 4 trillion, Google at 3.8 trillion. Might beat out AAPL relatively soon, but they're both moving pretty good lately, guys. Microsoft, 3.6 trillion. Amazon starting to pick up a little steam as well, too, 2.4 trillion. So those are the big boys right there. We like them. And then as for the global markets, we have the VIX, VXN for the Nasdaq, and then VIX, obviously, for the S&P, and a couple other names there, guys. So that's what we got going on. As for the week, everything is positive. So the Christmas rally coming into play here, into fruition, up 2% is the Qs, 2.2% or 0.2% is the SPY, and then we have the Dow Jones and the IWM. Now, as for the last month, guys, all of us hanging on, all of them, us, I don't know, Dow, Nasdaq, S&P, IWM, all green in the past month. You're grabbing a nice little return of 2% or less, guys, but nothing less than 1.5%. So what else do we got going on for today's session? You can see almost a double top being formed here on NVDA, guys. Keep an eye out for that 192.25 level and see what we got cooking over there. Machiavelli says you don't lose if you don't sell. Unfortunately, that's not the reality with options, my friend. Crazy. You lose if you hold on for too long, that's for sure. What was I just about to do, Sharif? I could tell you that. That is pull up the options chain and see what we got going on NVDA. If there's anything at that 192.5 strike price that's holding us up right there. And guys, there's 37,300 current open contracts with 307,000 traded on today's intraday session. I mean, we've already broke through a bunch of these levels, so keep an eye out on this strike price right here, just in case it holds up. That's the most volume and the most transactions at that current at-the-money strike price, guys. Keep an eye out on that. RGTI is still relatively cool. What has IBIT been up to? Full disclosure, I was telling Machiavelli, I got all out of my IBIT contracts. I had 6 of them. I sold 3 of them a while ago, and I sold my other 3 for a substantial loss. It is what it is. I give back the majority of what I made in that account this year and cut it in a bad fraction. It was not good whatsoever. But hey, we learn from those mistakes and we continuously move on. So there we go. Sorry, Machiavelli, had to, brother. IBIT still hovering around these lows, Sharif.
All right, man. ASPC. 35.31 high of day. It is dropping aggressively. Here comes $30. It's very spready, very spready. Right now it's $2 and some odd spread. You're gonna have to be really careful with this because not only is it moving dollars and more than dollars, I wanna say $2 at a time, but the spread on its own is gonna get you in a lot of trouble. Right now it's tightening up a little bit, 75 pennies. I say that facetiously, 70 pennies now. But the point is, there's opportunity there, but there's for profit, of course. And then there's, I would say, equal, if not worse, more greater opportunity for loss, given that this one, you might have to get out of it quicker than you like, right? Just given the size and the way that it's moving. So up 140%, so it's going to have a lot of people's attention. Let me tell you that it feels like there is a buyer in and around 30. $30 was certainly an area of resistance earlier on since we lost it at 945 and we traded that way from 950 to the breakout candle 1105. So over an hour of $30 resistance. But there goes PAVS and we built a nice position into this one. We have 13s on, just took out 19s there, looking for 20s, 22s. Let's see if this one can take out the high of the day. The HOD is 20 on the dot. So looking for that seller at 19 to get out of the way. He's gone, and there's the 20 print. Looking for 22s now. There's 22, has to cross. There's 25. Good breakout here, guys, on PAVS, setting up at 28, setting up at 33. Let's set up at 38s as well for a price spike up into 40. There's 30. Looking for continuation here, 44%. Good strength, 3.5 million shares. I do have an order to defend too. I do like the breakout above 2. So in the same way that I was just saying $30 was a key area of technical resistance on ASPC, the same way that I feel that $2 could be an area of technical support, having been resistance on PAVS. So we're going to be looking at adding more into this one, but got enough for the moment. Back to ASPC, as this one is the #1 gapper in the market at the moment, to the tune of 134%, outdoing USPC as that one's dropped off markedly. But there goes PAVS again into 35. We're setting up now at 38s, looking for continuation into 50%. Have a bias here that the $0.5 will be a key area of technical resistance. Setting up at 37s, sorry, 38s. There's 38. Can it cross? Can't cross. So we won't get the print. And there it goes, Joey, into 43. We get all the prints there, all at one time here on PAVS. It's a rocket ship here, 50%. This one was 20-some-odd% when we got into it. Yeah. Good look, good continuation. Looking for a dip down to get more, Joey.
Dang, show them who's your daddy. Their daddy, Sharif.
I don't know. I don't know. You're setting me up for mistakes.
No, I'm not. I'm saying show Pabs who their daddy is.
Oh, I got it. I thought you were asking me.
Big daddy.
What is Sharif even trading? The ticker's on your screen, brother. If you need me to help you read it out, I'd be more than happy to read it out for you.
Pabs. That's it.
I think he might have trouble reading.
Sure. Well, yeah, I am a wild child, man. I was always told that. All right, yeah, I mean, guys, Sharif's crushing that over there on Pavs, bro. Exactly, KT for the win. Like, if you never, come on, man. I mean, it's right there on the screen. All right, no, in all seriousness, let's see what else we got going on here. You can see a little bit of selling pressure step back into this market. Double top on NVDA. We were talking about that not too long ago. And then, sure enough, we couldn't break and hold the volume-weighted average price. So very identical price action patterns being formed here on the QQQs and on the SPY. Same thing here in the Qs. So that's what I got my eyes on. A nice little pullback that we're experiencing here in Netflix. I don't know what's going on there, so you guys can see what I'm swinging right there. It just showing the full size. I tried getting it away, but it's nothing substantial whatsoever. But we'll rock and roll and see if we can cook up on this one. Tesla starting to get a nice little bounce. This was a really nice play. I think there's a lot of things correlating with it. I mentioned that I tried to post up at a better price, just at the lower end of the body of this candle, and then look for this move higher, but I wasn't fortunate enough to catch that fill. But I think there's a lot of things that are kind of just aligning right here. So you have an indecision print being formed, and Sean mentioned this not too long ago, is that this is the largest 1-minute volume print aside from the open. Right? So that's the second largest print, and then eventually the stock starts to turn around. But what you also have there correlating with the volume print is that a couple minutes later, literally, you have an indecision, a hammer candle being formed, something that Gore of Los Polios and a bunch of other traders are always consistently looking for. So this is volume price analysis 101. You have the stopping volume step in, and then sure enough, you get a breath in TSLA, and it starts to grind a little bit higher. I thought we were going to get a retest, but it was a steady bid to the top side, and I wasn't going to chase it, as I mentioned before. As for IBIT, continuous selling right here, $50.50 now down to $49.36. I'm really happy to get out of this for now. I still have my same size in my long-term account, but as from a swing perspective, I do believe that we're going to break through some of these key support levels at some point. If you go back to spot itself, to the actual underlying asset, you can see that on this day, November 21st, is going to be its largest volume print. You get a nice little rebound, but you're starting to really curl over here. If you continuously hold and then we get more indecision prints around the lows, maybe this bounce can be sustained, but right now, from what we're currently seeing, is consistent lower highs, all right? So that's not something positive. The support is holding up, so you're forming somewhat of a wedge, but keep an eye out on that just in case this wedge breaks and the volume really starts to pick up. It could get really dangerous and we could head into those higher 70s levels, all right, guys? So keep that in mind. One thing to note is also that as we're coming down, the volume is also stair-stepping down. So you're getting that divergence between price and actual volume as well, too. So, hey, if you have some participants step in that new wave of participants stepping in, maybe you get a continued bounce. But I think a lot of people are fearful of the crypto space right now, even though we typically say when there's blood in the streets, it's a good time to buy. I would slowly grab this stuff. Don't go all in at once. I talk about it all the time.
Joey, what's that kidding? Strikeout? Strikeout.io?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for that. So Egypt's playing South Africa right now in the AFCON, and we're winning 1-0, but we're a man down. We got somebody kicked out. 2 yellows, this Mohamed Haney guy. What a liability he is.
Mo Salah, is he playing?
He scored a penalty kick.
Ooh.
He played.
All right, man.
Yeah, no, it's Marmouche, bro. Marmouche is on fire right now. But yeah, we're gonna have to run that in the background, Joey. So we're gonna keep an eye out on this one. PAVS topping tail candle into 244, coming back down now into the mid-20s. Ram, is there something we can do about Streamlabs? Because it keeps blocking people's messages, and they're just like putting in tickers. They don't mean anything bad, like they're putting in Micron, they're putting in whatever, and they just keeps blocking their messages. So I don't really think that that's the point of Streamlabs. So let me know if we can take a look at that, Ram or Fabian. But PAVS, we're keeping an eye here on this one. I'd like to look at defended 20. So I missed this one. So there was certainly, Ram, if you can go to the chart, there was certainly definitely, Ram, chart. 20 penny area resistance, comes back into 20. I wasn't alive to that micro area of resistance, and now it's getting a nice pop back up into the mid 30s. But I don't know if we hold up here, given what we did with the 11:15 candle. It's a monster candle with like equal sized upper and lower wicks. So I really don't know what to make of it. It's supposed to be a reversal candle. So look, it comes down into VWAP, which is right around my entry at 13s. We'll get in a little bit more, but I need to see a little bit more. Now, if it takes out the high of the day at 44s, given what it just did with that candle at 11:15, I'm going to add into this one. Bakamadi, we are using a proprietary software that the firm here, the prop firm that we work at, has called P8. You really can't use it unless you're with the firm, of course. And if you live in the States, you can't be with P8 or with Real Trading. But if you're anywhere else in the world, you really can be. So check out realtrading.com if you guys are interested in that. But that's all I got. I'm keeping an eye here on GSIT as that one continues to trade higher towards the range. I don't mind this one all that much, but it's not coming back down into the lower end of the range. And I have a bias that this one is a bit of an upward channel. So if that's the case, then I can't be getting in at these highs. I have to get in more around that 690, 695 area. At worst, $7, and then maybe DCA into the mid to low 90s. So that's GSIT there, keeping an eye on that one. XPEF continues to trend higher, and it's about 2 or 3 pennies now away from that high a day at 218. Now it looks like it's a penny or 2 away from that high. So XPEV, I don't know where this one goes, but it's got a great looking chart pattern. It's looking at breaking out from the top end of the range, the bull flag range. There it is, new high a day, 219s now on XPEP, but FJET also looking really good. A $16 buyer in and around $16, still unshaken. You do have a few wicks that do lose 16, but for the most part, all the prints are above that level. And here's 17 with a 1748 high a day. So FJET very much in play. Now, having said that, we still technically are putting in lower highs from that 17.5 area high a day. So FJET will certainly be in focus for me if it sets up. Let's actually put that on a trading screen. Oh, we got it already. So what's the move here on FJET?
Bust it.
What's that?
I said bust the move.
Yeah, but bust the move. $17 got to clear, Joey, because it just popped into 17, rejects 17, coming back down a little bit now into the 1680s, high 80s that is. I don't quite have a read as to how to take the trade on FJET. If that's the case, then I need to watch it a little bit more, get a bit better of an idea. But here comes the 17 break, at least for now. 1706 showing up here on the bid. Good momentum, but not having cleared all that decisively. There it goes. 715 high, 23 high now. On its way to 48. 48 is the high of the day. 25 is now showing up on the ask. So good strength here. Good recovery off the volume weighted average price. I hope some traders took that $16 dip trade because that's money. Good on you guys if you did. Back to PAVS as this one's coming right back into VWAP. We're going to let this one come into that $2 area. We're going to get a little bit more if it comes into this because I'm barely holding any shares here. So if it wants to hold up here, take a nice little bounce off that 210, 2 high single digits. We'll get involved with this one, Joey. What do you got, my man?
All right, good stuff, man. I mean, we're getting into the 2-hour mark of the market being open today, and I don't have a single trade, nor am I liking anything that I have my eyes on. So, guys, I think it's important to know, like, again, I'm coming into the new year, man, a different beast, being more patient, waiting for those high-quality setups. And with that being said, it's not going to be that exciting right now. I mean, obviously, those days where we have guns a-blazing and we're having all this fun and stuff, but but right now I'm not seeing anything. Silver's got that channel that's continuously going to the top side. I'm just waiting for more data to be displayed for us to maybe find a definitive direction. I don't see that right now, so I'm not in any rush to get involved or anything. I remember you making some journals for your trades. I think what happened to that dropped. No, I do. I document my stuff all the time, and I'm still working on that thing, guys. In the new year, I'll bring that to you so everyone, you can just go trade by trade, something that I did for years. But now I just more or less just document the trade itself. It gives me enough data. But yeah, I'm always keeping my journals up to date. Sometimes I get a little lazy, but for the most part, I guess consistency is taking those breaks and then getting right back into it as soon as possible, right? So as for the TQs, guys, nothing really going on that I really like, nothing attractive. Let's head over to our scanner to see if we find anything. AAL at the top of the list. Okay, this isn't right. Let's get this volume set up. Yeah, no, it went alphabetical order. That's why. Yeah. So NVDA double top right here. SLV performing really well, guys. An additional channel going up to the top side. You're now heading right back into that $69 level. Tesla finding a nice rebound. You get that pullback. Let's see if it can run and test into the volume weighted average price. What has Bitmine Immersion been up to? Oh my days.
You don't even want to talk about that.
Yeah, we don't want to talk about that one there. So FJet though, Starfighter. That one's moving up higher there.
You like that one, eh, Joey?
What do you got going on? I feel like you're ready to go. All right. When the voice gets up, I feel like you got something cooking up because I don't have anything right now. But I will bring you something regardless if it's a winner or a loser. I will put on a trade. I just want to find something solid and put probability in my favor. As for CLSK, not doing too much. What's Pfizer doing up there?
What's it up to?
No, nothing going on there. UiPath, IWM. Yeah, a lot of nothing for me personally on today's session. I'm glad the boys caught NVDA this morning. I'm glad Sharif got PAVs. That one's looking really nice. Netflix, what have you been up to? Ooh, getting that aggressive pullback right here, guys. So ASTS as well. Just running through the scanner, looking for names that have the most volume and any quality setups. We're going to head over to the lower time frame and get really deep into the detail of price action and see if we can find anything that we like. Micron, watch out for this tomfoolery over here, Sharif. Yeah, exactly. AL, we went over those. RGTI, found that base. Nothing that I like right now is that channel to the top side. So what you want to do is essentially find the lower end of this channel. I didn't even hear what you said. Find the lower end of the, pardon?
Said you found the base, right?
On the base. Oh, no, about that base. About that base.
My bad.
No, jam. Nike, what have you been up to? How you doing? Not too good. So we'll keep an eye out on some of these names. Sharif, I'm just relaxing, man. I got a flight. Yo, listen. I got a 6:15 a.m. flight out of the city tomorrow. Woo. The snow, but it's usually pretty good with departures.
Yeah,
it's typically pretty.
You probably go through the de-icing.
Oh yeah, that's a mission.
Well, it's not even that bad.
It's not. It's just the line's pretty long.
Exactly.
But earlier the flight, the better, obviously.
And you're not even going to be too bad. Like, I think, well,
it ends at like 4 though, right? The snow
Fair.
ends approximately around 4.
Today?
Pearson's actually,
Okay.
Pearson's actually pretty good for cleaning up messes, to be honest.
Yeah,
with
well,
you.
we got experience.
Yeah, exactly. Aside from all the horrible airlines on the inside, Air Canada. I mean, the networking is pretty good. Yeah.
All right, here we go. We're adding again into this one. So I just added a little bit here on PAVS. We added at 11, scalped up all the way into 24s. I'm going to add again now that we've got another higher low. So prior bar low is, oh, come on. Prior bar low is, I think, 209, 208. We got in some at 216 there. Let's go ahead and set up some a little bit higher here. We'll look to take some scalps, but it really does feel like the FJet show at the moment now because FJET, new high day as I was speaking about PAVS. It's an 1820 high. 3 candle, 4 candle pullback now on the 1 candle pullback on the 5. I want to see what this one does with 17, right? We were talking about 16 being a key area of technical support. 17, I want to say yes, it got tested several times, but it wasn't able to break through it. So could be an area of technical support, formerly resistance. We'll see what this one does if it comes back down into 17. The current bar low still 34, so not quite there yet. What are we doing over here with PAVS? There we go, right back into 22s. Let's see if we can get 25s now, having added now a 3rd time on PAVS. All the prints still holding generally above that 10 EMA, and the closing prints are holding above VWAP. And the wicks are holding above the 10 EMA. VWAP right now for the moment on PAVS because of the quick acceleration of the price action is above the 10 EMA on the 5. That typically isn't the case. Usually the 10 EMA is above VWAP, but when the price action develops super quick, it tends to go ahead of it. Yeah, it's still doing it, Fabian. Commodity King just put PD in the chat. Pardon me? Streamlabs. Yeah, there we go. All right, looking at PAVS over here, back into 24 it goes, looking for a continuation into 25. Seller here at 24s that we really can't shake for the moment, but it's higher lows on these candles, so I don't want to take it out here. I don't think that would be right. Let's go ahead up and set up at 33s as well. If we get a nice price spike up, it's higher low, higher low, higher low on the current 3 candle setup now on PAVS, which makes me feel that this one could rocket back up. You never really know with these small gappers. You can get lured in and then have some trouble there. But let's take a look at FJAT because it looks like it's holding prior bar low 31, current bar low 36. Let's give this one the old call try. We're going to give it to current bar low. So we're going to go 17. We're going to go 17.29, and we'll give this one the old try over here. We're probably going to get stopped out, but we're going to give it a try anyway. We're going to post at 77s, and then we want to post up a little bit closer to the whole dollar at 18, and then we can put another quick beak wetter above that $18 area for a quick liquidity grab if we can get that one. So that's what I'm looking at right now, Joey. What do you got on my man?
Nice, man. Machiavelli, hopefully all the best for your surgery. He's having knee surgery as well, too.
Hope he does well, man.
Yeah, man. Honestly, yeah, all the best to that. It's hopefully yours isn't as long as mine. Man. MCL meniscus. I think you should be all right. Oh, sorry, Adara. What do you got going on?
Oh, I didn't even hear her.
What we have going on, guys, here is crypto. Take a look here at this BTC in the 15-minute chart. Really nice bounce here off this low in the 15 minutes, as you can see, but a big drop basically off the market open, 9:30 a.m. We start dropping. According to the Kobasi letter, roughly $70 million worth of levered longs were liquidated, leading to this 3,000 point drop here, a $3,000 drop for Bitcoin. So interesting look there for BTC. We'll take a look at the daily and then the weekly chart here for Bitcoin and Ethereum, because on the daily, we have that resistance around 95,000. Lately, there's been some resistance around 90,000 halves, but pretty choppy the last couple days. So what are we doing on the weekly chart for Bitcoin? I mean, the weekly, again, shows kind of similar to what we're seeing with the DXY. They have a range action on the weekly. Last 2 weeks, we've had that resistance at the aforementioned 90,500 area, but it is a little bit more inside trading this week on Bitcoin versus last week, slightly higher low. Ethereum, meanwhile, if we pull up Ethereum USD on this weekly chart, looking exactly the same, though unlike Bitcoin, which actually had a pretty equal high here in the weekly, the last 2 highs were basically the same. Ethereum actually making a slightly lower high this week, though much like Bitcoin, higher low as well. So let's see if this range-bound trading in the weekly results higher or lower for Bitcoin and Ethereum, as we send you back to the Bash Brothers.
For that, Adara. Yeah, thank you, Commodity Kings, for pointing out RBLX. It is pretty strong here on today's session. I mean, there it is, a nice price action print. You can see a high of the day of around 82.14. Not too bad of a look whatsoever. I mean, if you're looking for the continuation, be patient, wait for that pullback. If you head over to the lower time frames, you can see that we're really running into liquidity issues here. So the spread is probably going to be a little bit wider on RBLX. But as for the 5-minute time frame, you're looking pretty good. So rock and roll and wish the best. For you, obviously, Machiavelli. As for everything else, guys, we ran through our scanner. No point in me going through the small cap scanner because that Sharif World, even though we might trade it, mine isn't set up too bad. Pardon me?
Jump on board, baby.
Yeah, I know. I like them.
I know you do, yeah.
One thing that I really like about them, can I say, is just the momentum at random times. Right? Like outside of when you're trading the bigger boys or the overall market, the momentum really steps in aside from catalyst within that first 45 minutes of the day. These things can get rocking and rolling at any given moment, which I think is pretty cool.
I could be wrong completely about this, but I still feel there's a bit more edge in small cap gappers because it's not as played into as the Mag 7.
There's not that many participants.
And there's like everybody and their mother's algo, and all the heavy hitters are maneuvering in those names, and I feel like it gets to be a big
and that's what I talked about in Blue Ocean. I like the overnight trading. I like Blue Ocean.
Agreed.
That's what I really like about Blue Ocean and these names is that less participants. We talk about volume going into 24 hours. Well, I think it's actually pretty good because there's not going to be your heavy institutions being involved, more or less the retail guys in the blue ocean world. So you have big players obviously stepping in, but just less opinions helps cleaner price action within there.
Well said, Joey. We're going to give FJet the old college try over here. Let's go ahead and wait. What did we get in? We got 17s on there, okay. Let's go ahead and post some beak wetters at key levels. All right, we already got a print there. Let's go see if we can post some more. I'm giving it to current bar low, okay. So if it's going to have to hold generally the 1688, which is current bar low, we'll see what this one does, okay? So we're going to give this one the old college try, waiting next at 35s, stopped out 1688. But this one continues to print, man. PAVS, we added again in 16s, as you can see on the screen. I just took it out there at 33s. I still have an order above 40s to go for this one, but not quite yet for the print, that is, on PAVS. But I do want to mention another. It's not just the FJet and PAVS show, but MDLN. Look, it's not up a lot. It's only up 1.85, but it's got a good looking chart pattern and it seems to have a lot of support at 45. This was a flat top break. It was an ascending wedge pattern into 45 with 45 area resistance, and it rocketed through there all the way up into 45.39. Let's see what this one has to offer. I'm not going to jump into it quite yet, but there does seem to be support at 45. It's showing 45.05 right now on the bid, 45.10 on the ask. Let's see what that one does. I just got stopped out of FJet for the second time. This one is definitely not holding trend in the way that I like. So 3 lower highs in a row now on FJET. So one more try on this one. And if I go 0 for 3 on it, we're going to have to basically take it off the side chart. So FJet looking for continuation on this bad, but I think I'm giving it not enough room here, but I'm give this a try. We'll give this a try. FJET, yeah, I like this over here. More. We're going to give it another try, Joey. We're going to give it a little bit lower over here. So let's go just, oops. We're just going to go like this, and then we're going to see exactly if we can kind of hold up in and around there. The other thing that I want to point out is Bovin, BHVN, not the person in the chat, but the ticker. Apparently he's moving, and the best part is the actual person Bovin themselves told me that it was moving. This is a really good looking chart here, Bovin. Yes, taking out pre-market highs into the high of the day. BHVN goes. It is up about 3%, which is not that much, but it's got a good looking chart pattern. So if we can kind of take it off key levels, that would be just aces for me. So we're going to keep tabs on that. Just back to FJet over here to see how we're doing. We're back 1706 on that one. Haven't put any profit takers, so let's layer some orders here into the high. We're looking for a move into 33s. And then I don't want to take out too much, right? Like if this is going to run, I want to be able to take out some at higher levels. So we've got some good shares here on FJet, looking for continuation into the high. Joe, show them what you got, my man.
All right, my boy. So there we are, 94.20s. I like this indecision print there on NFLX. Let's see if we can catch a fill. I'm at the lower end of the range. If we fail to break this high, then it might not be a good opportunity or a good setup. This is where I'm going to get out 94.10, so literally only 10 cents worth of risk at this point. And if it heads in towards the volume weighted average price, we'll just get out of the trade. Well, we will be out of it by the time it gets there. So 94.10 is that level that I'm looking for. Need a 10-cent pullback right now. You can see that we're slowly starting to form these lower highs, but I do like our opportunity due to the fact that it was strong this morning and essentially going opposite the overall market. So we're going to look for the continuation and strength. I really see this is the thing with the TQs. We were kind of just talking about it, and Sean mentioned, and I mentioned it time and time again, is that you have such a major push and pull factor within this vehicle that, and what I'm referring to here is that you'll have Apple going one way, you have NVDA going the other way, you have Google going this way, and it's just a really big push and pull. And eventually what I'm getting at is just, it's best when everything is correlated to trade this vehicle. What I've noticed over time is that it puts in a lot of false signals. You can have Apple climbing higher and continuously grinding, and then it'll put an inverted hammer candle at an extreme high, but then moments later it'll just blow past it, right? So it's good to keep an eye out on the Mag 7. We just went over some of the largest market capitalization names, so it's good to keep an eye on them, especially when you're trading the SPY or the TQs. SPY, you want to keep an eye on XLF. What has it been doing lately? Because I'm sitting on a little bit of cash in the long term, and I really like what the banks are doing. I might just go single stock here, and that's going to be JP Morgan. What are we trading at here today? 327, not too bad, right? I really like this name as it put in a new all-time high this morning, actually, at $330.50. You're getting a little bit of a rebound off of this. Is it a good chase all the way up here? I mean, if you start relatively small, go 20%, it pulls back. I just don't see JPM, unless something detrimental happens to the banks, I don't see us breaking past that 290 or even 275. I think some negative catalysts would have to step in order for us to get back to those levels. I could be totally wrong, maybe a little bit of frothy, but also a decent dividend here. $1.50, sign me up. I really like this name. I'm liking the banks for the foreseeable future, and I mentioned before, there's so many trades to be had in the market. You don't necessarily have to be hyper-focused on something that has a GPU with cloud computing, et cetera, et cetera. There's plenty of other good names, and I'm going to start it off with the financials. One of the strongest sectors in the overall market, one of the largest as well, too. So I like that aside from tech. So, Joseph, SoFi and Coin are my bank plays. You like SoFi and Coin. I like that. Ozan is accepting donations. So am I, brother. So I don't know. Thank you for that. I mean, if we want to donate to each other, I don't know how that would work out. But commercial exposure, Jamie, bad side. Yeah, that's totally understandable. How about Goldman Sachs? Yeah, I like Goldman Sachs. A lot of these names across the board. Let's head over to Goldman Sachs daily setup here and see what we got going on. Like, again, new all-time high. Oh, sorry, that happened last week, a couple weeks ago. But anyways, you're right around that neck of the woods. A big-time consolidated breakout here in Goldman Sachs and continuing on its grind higher. So I think sticking with the financials could be a solid play for 2026.
All right, Joey. PAVS continues to hang out at highs. I did get into an MDLN trade over here. I'm looking for a 45 hold and a move back into that level. Into the high of the day. The high of the day is 45.39. But Bovin bringing to my attention that GSIT just made a new high a day, and here it is. So it looks like it's breaking away from the range. But it's still kind of holding the uptrend. It's just not making moves down into the lower trend line over here, which seems to be a little bit above the the volume weighted average price. It looks like the bottom end of the range is going to be 7 on the dot, but it's been hanging out a lot closer to the highs than it has been for the lows. It's up almost 21% on the day. GSIT looks to be a strong trade. We're going to have to keep an eye out on this one. I'd like to pick up something a little bit closer to 7 if that is possible. We'll have to see if that ends up coming in or what the situation is. I'm going to set up an alert for this one. So if it does come into that, I'm going to put 710 just so that I can have advance notice of a move into it. Now, FJET continues to bamboozle me a little bit here. We've got 65s on, it's showing me 49s. It still hasn't broken down below my level, so I'm going to continue to hold this one. It seems like it's finding a little bit of support, but I think maybe I'm seeing what I want to see here. MDLN, it's a 4-candle pullback into a technical area of support, which is 45, and that is holding. The problem is the spread is opening up a little bit on MDLN now. It was tighter, around 5 pennies. Now it seems to be about 7 or so. So opening up a little bit here on the 5-minute chart. FJET continues to drop into about 16 and a quarter, so we're going to have to keep an eye out on this one. What a move down from 18.20. Let's see if it holds up at the volume weighted average price, which is right at that $16 area, of course. So let's see if we can get that area, and then we're going to hold for a move down below. Well, we're going to stop out if it loses VWAP, but we're going to hold it into the volume weighted average price. PAVS seems to be getting selling at around 35, despite the fact that the candle setup right now is higher highs and higher lows. This seems like an inverse hammer candle forming right now. So topping tail candle coming down into the $0.25. I've got 16s on, so we'll see what this one ends up doing. But those are the 3 that I'm looking at, Joey, with GSIT. Certainly one of interest to me, but I got to get a little bit closer into that $7 area.
All right, brother. So there we go. We get a couple opportunities. It's starting to pull back a little bit here, guys. So we're going to wait for that 94.20 level. Could be a little bit of a mistake. Why? Because you can see at that pivot at 94.15, if we breach that, then the stop is most likely going to get hit. Get a small volatility spike to the downside. So what is our next move? If we get that fill at 94.20 and we get stopped out at 94.10, well, right at $94 flat, I'm going to be looking for indecisions. Why? Because that's right around the volume weighted average price. One thing or the other is going to happen. We have Netflix positive 0.7% here this morning. So I'm going to be keeping an eye out on this. I would love to catch this fill. You can see it bounce into that level on multiple occasions, but not quite the bid hitting that. We had the bid at 94.21s, but not quite at 94.20. I don't want anything other than that price that I'm posted up at, so I'm going to be patient there. So this is really important to know, guys. Chasing is really, really bad. Make sure you get in on those marketable limits, etc., and not just chase price, because what happens is that you're now skewing your risk to reward ratio, and we don't want to do that. We want to put everything in our possible favor, all right? Feels like everything is mid-range at the moment, says Chavo. No clear ops. This is risk money on. That is, I agree with you, right? So that's why I'm being patient, waiting for some solid opportunities. It's almost noon, and I haven't taken a single trade today. Okay, so that's why I'm just going to be patient and going to stick to that narrative regardless, because New Year, I'm not going with that, be it New Year, new me. We're not doing that here. But what has some of the other names been up to? I got my eyes on Robinhood, RBLX, still moving half decently today. And who else do we got? Let's head right back to our scanner and see a couple of the names here. We're in Shreve small cap land right now. Let's get this volume here. Have you looked at, what is this YYGH? Have you seen that? Did that pop up on your scanner today?
YYGH?
Yeah. It
Look.
has 46 million shares traded today.
It's a little bit.
Yeah, it doesn't look the cleanest. I was just asking if it was on yours, right?
I didn't see it actually, Joe.
Yeah, okay, so then we got DVLT as well, guys, up on our scanner, Zeta. I like that. Or how do the Americans, Zeta, right? The Americans are Z? Or,
Yeah.
Zeta. So how is it, okay, Xena, the Princess Warrior, makes a little bit of sense. Okay, I understand that now. What else do we got? GSIT, not doing too much. Oh, okay, nice little move here, guys. So you get that move from $6 all the way up to $7.24. Not too bad whatsoever. Let's head over to the 1 minute time frame. What do we need? 2 5-minute time frames. A lot of 5-letter tickers. You got to watch out for those names with the exception of Google. I'm not a big 5-letter ticker guy. As soon as that pops up, I'm like, ooh, okay, I'm a little cautious about that. Okay, I see what you're doing there, Stacy. Be appropriate. All right, but I'm obviously joking. 94.30s. We got that pull back into 94.21. We didn't catch that fill at 94.20s, but we're still going to be patient, sit on our hands. UNH. Yeah, let's take a look at UNH here. How's that name been performing as of late? Not too bad. Up to $330. Let's head over to the daily on UNH and see what we got. A nice recovery off the lows, right? Like we were at $236, a lot of sideways price action, but you get 40% off of that specific level. We don't really want to zoom out from the daily and see where we got going on, considering you're still down 50%, even though we just zoomed out from the daily and gave you that percentage metric. But at the end of the day, I'm patient. I'm sitting on my hands, waiting for either the Nasdaq or another opportunity to fall in my lap to the point where I say I have to take that trade, and I'm not seeing that right now.
All right, guys, stopped out of FJet on this one. It did lose VWAP, but it does look like it is moving back above the volume-weighted average price. I'm 0 for 3 on it, so we're going to have to give this one up and try something a little bit different. But thankfully, we've got MDLN in focus, now putting in higher lows. It does seem to be a seller, though, at 45.10. Every time we move up into that 10 area, there's aggressive selling. So looking for continuation on that guy. And to take out some orders here, I've got 14s on, 19s, 23s, but we got to shake the seller at 10s and obviously a hidden seller as there's really nothing posted on the gateway on this one to kind of keep us down. So we'll see if we can get rid of that 10 seller and move on up and maybe take some in the 20s there or so. Well, what are you guys looking at? TT Mass saying he's looking at VEEA. Let's have a look at that one. There's very little volume there, brother, about 278,000 shares on this one. That's certainly not for me. I'm going to have to forego that one. But MDLN just took out the 10 seller, and there it goes into 18. So we get a nice print there on this bad boy. Looking for continuation still. There it goes into 25s. Good breakout now on MDLN. Let's see if we can get a little bit more here. The bid-ask spread is still wide. So 25 on the bid, 25 on the ask, 11 on the bid. So you're not getting the follow-through on both sides of level 2. We'll see if this one can kind of pop up, take out some more orders on this bad boy here. We're still holding some shareage. We're looking for a little bit more. How is PAVS coming? All right, well, that one just dropped down. into our entry, which is the volume weighted average price, and that won't be the trade for me, so we'll flatten that one out and see what else we can do here with MDLN. That one's still trading near the highs. There's 22s again showing up. Nice move up on this one. Have we gotten any prints there yet? No. Funny enough, we're waiting at 23s. It's showing 23 now on the level 2, but it's going to cross. So we'll have to pack the patience on this one. But good recovery on MDLN, looking for a little bit more over here to get us out of some of the trouble that we got into with FJET. And FJET, by the way, is all sorts of weak. It is really dropping aggressively over here. So be on the lookout for that. FJET really losing it to the downside. We're going to wet the beak some more over here on this one, and that is a good look there. I'm seeing you guys punching in some stocks there on the side, so let me just take out some over here and to look at those bad boys that you guys were mentioning. Let's bring in the side chart. There's that trade Bovin we were telling you about. Jamlocky saying PCLA. Let's have a look at PCLA. Not a bad look at all. You know, sub 33, sorry, sub $1, trading at around 39 pennies right now. It's a good kind of bull flag looking pattern, but problem is it's trading below the volume weighted average price, and it has a whole bunch of highs that we have to get through in order to really get the trend back in focus. What's this one up on the day? Okay, 72%. Not bad, not bad at all. This one closed out Friday at about 20, or not Friday, excuse me, Wednesday at about 23 pennies. I'm going to keep an eye on that one. I think I'll take RKLZ off, and we'll put PCLA. Thanks for that, Jamlocky. We'll take off something there on the side. PCLA. Put that one there. Tsunami Trader saying NCL. Let me have a look at NCL. Yeah, all these sub $1 names. Hey, if they're going to be the bunch that are going today, we'll have to trade them begrudgingly. But 40 penny-ish high. Looks like 40.5 pennies. Let me just throw this on the side so that it updates. NCL. This one has done about 94 million and a third shares, and it's looking really good. Really getting a big move up here, 1145. That candle took out VWAP, and now we are knocking on the door of that pre-market high, the high that we got into at about 5:10 a.m. That one was 40 2/3 pennies. There it goes, 41 penny high now on NCL. So good continuation on this one, guys. Keep your eye out on NCL and some of these other sub $1 names that we just mentioned. BHVN could be one, PCLA could be another. So that's what I'm looking at. I feel like there's stronger momentum in those guys than there is in some of the others that we've been trading today, Joe. So we're going to look at some of these sub $1 names, NCL and PCLA, guys. We'll keep an eye on both of those.
All right, good stuff. Yeah, Scott, I'm waiting for it to kind of just head over to the volume weighted average price. I'm in the first trade of the day here.
Nice.
We grabbed a couple of pennies. We posted up. We waited for that level. You guys seen how long ago I posted that level? And I'm like, I don't want any other price than when I'm at right now. So let's see if this is going to work out for us here. Tesla, Scott, this is what I'm thinking, right? Considering, look at the volume to the downside. Quite substantial and consistent, but then look at the volume as we're starting to take this breath in the underlying here, right? Really starting to stair-step down. I don't know if I can draw. Can I draw a thing? Oh, okay, that's cool. So there it is in the volume, right? So nice and steady as we're accelerating to the downside. Converging, but now as we're starting to climb a little bit higher back into VWAP, it's really starting to diverge from price. So you're getting that inverse kind of move right here. I would wait for it to run into the volume weighted average price, see how it reacts around that specific zone, and if it slowly starts to turtle shell and curl over, then by all means, maybe you can rock and roll, take an additional short. But right now, Tesla's in no man's land, and I don't want to find a stock that's in no man's land. I just get chopped up like no tomorrow. Chop suey. So yeah, I mean, there it is, guys. A couple pennies, ITM on NFLX. Really important to wait for those levels to come into play. Katina Man's really good at that. Coming back in, ideal target at 2-to-1 would put us at 2-to-1 would put us at 30s. We're gonna have to be fortunate because this downtrend is still looking like it's in play right now. Until this breaks and we have a 1-minute candle sit on the backside of this trend, we might be in a little bit of trouble. Once this pivot breaks, that's gonna be at 94.13. We'll be 7 cents OTM at that point. I have have a strong hunch that it's going to head into this 94.10 level, and that's when I'm at a dodge, waiting for the exact same thing in which Tesla I'm thinking about here. Run into VWAP, slowly curl over, run into VWAP, maybe potentially bounce here in NFLX, considering it was going opposite the overall market. A nice strong clean flush at the ass though, so there is a little bit of buyers being engaged. And why did I start swinging NFLX, you may ask? All right, well, let's head over to the daily. It's pretty simple, really. I mean, there's a lot of buying pressure. Let me get rid of some of these. I don't know what this stuff does, man. This is giving me anxiety too, Sharif. I don't know.
Joey?
There's just so much going on here that I didn't ask for any of this here. I tried removing it. It's giving me this. Yeah, yeah. Well, that's how many shares I currently have right now. I told everybody that on which I'm swinging, but I can't remove it.
Those off,
I tried.
No?
It's like show. Yeah. I don't know what's going on with the updates here, but this is essentially what I've got going on. If only I could show you guys. Without that, is that we started to form this base with multiple indecision prints off of the lows. All right, so that's essentially what I'm making this trade off of. My averages, you can see it right here, 93.44. As soon as we break 91s, I'm out of dodge. I want no part of this trade whatsoever because I'm looking for that bounce with a relatively tight stop. All right, guys, we're still down. We'll go from the peak to the trough here, approximately 30%. I think we're due for a bounce in NFLX, but if it's extremely weak, the bleeding might continue.
All right, guys, PAVS, we're back in this one. This one's got an aggressive seller at 30s. Now, I want you to be careful because it is putting in lower highs. But the seller at 30 is quite identifiable, and it's obviously a hidden seller here because we've been hanging out at 30s for quite some time and no continuation above it. Why I say be careful with the lower highs, if you're looking at the prior area high, I would submit to you it's the 1140 candle, right? And the high of which is 37s. And then you're looking at lower highs, subsequent candle there, the high is about 33. After that, it's now then we get into the 30 seller. And as you can see, we're zigging and zagging here. We can't clear the 30 penny level. Right back into 30 we go. Only 27 lots posted. And then 28 now with 12 below it. So clearly a hidden seller coming in at 30 pennies. Whether or not we're able to shake them, well, we're above technical areas. We're above VWAP. We're above the 10 EMA. But it really will depend on whether there's more buying and selling at this particular level on this day. Who really knows, right? So I'm going to pack my patience, looking for continuation above that 30 penny area, but very alive to the 30 seller. MDLN as well continues to put in higher lows. This one has been quite respectful of trend for the higher lows, but it's also had a lot of trouble with the lower highs. So if you're looking at the 1120 candle, that's the high of the day, and then you're looking at subsequent high, that's the 1145 candle, and they're all lower highs there. So be on the lookout for that. PAVS dropping back down into 27s, 28s. So for the moment, the 30 seller winning out. We need to be careful with this guy as an aggressive sell order could come in and wipe out a bunch of prints to the downside over here. I'm only a penny in the money on this one now, having gotten in at 24. So I need to be careful with this one and not overstay my welcome too much over here. So we'll take out some and we'll see what we can get on this bad boy. I also want to get back into MDLN, man. I think if I give it to prior bar low, that'd be reasonable. So prior bar low is 45.05. If we can get in here at 10s, let's see if we can. Let's see if I can get a mid print there. I did get the mid print, good. So we can post up a little bit higher. And then I'll just give it to prior bar low. That way I'm not caught offside with this one. And as I mentioned, 45.05. So we'll go 45.04 and nothing more than that. Nothing less than that, I should say. And yeah, that's what we'll punch in there. So give us a little bit of support. I forgot to mention NCL. That's that Northand Corp NCL that you guys brought me not long ago. Let's bring that one in. This is looking real good on the 5-minute chart, I should say. Nice breakout there, and now you've taken out the pre-market high. You're dropping back down a little bit now into that 40 penny area. For the most part, you're defending 40 pennies, but we haven't closed out this candle yet. Closing print or the current price is above 40 pennies, but it did dip down into about 39, tested that. I don't know how I'd work into this. Let's take a little bit more of a look over here. Well, my first inclination is to say 39, 40 pennies, just because that's the pre-market high and the breakout spot. You never really know. Prior bar high, about 38, high 37s. There's a breakout level in and around that as well. I don't know. I need to see a little bit more on NCL, especially with the bamboozling price action that these sub $1 names typically exhibit. But we'll see what we can get on that one. MDLN, we're in at 12s. It's showing 15s. We're waiting at 17s, looking for a continuation up. It's still holding prior bar low. It hasn't taken out prior bar high, so we're in a state of indecision right now on MDLN. Decent day for it. It's not up big or anything. 2%, barely. All right, let's go back now to PAVS because we're back into that 30 penny level again. And again, we're not printing anything above 30 pennies. And you can always, audit that, whether or not we've had anything above 30 just by looking at the level 2. All right, I'm seeing that GSIT has dipped in aggressively to 7. So this could be an entry point now that we mentioned earlier on GSIT, which trades on the NQ. Let me just have a look at that. There it is, in the $7. Now, this is the low end of the range. I'm going to get in here, and I'm not really going to give it much, okay? We're going to go in, and we're going to give it a little bit below $7. So we'll go $6.94, and we'll give it to in and around that area. If it pops up, great. If it doesn't, we'll stop out. So we got in at 05s. We'll take some out there at 11s. Back to MDLN, as this one is continuing to put in higher lows and higher highs. 17 now on the ask. Alas, we still haven't printed anything on this one because of the spread. So we'll have to pack the patience there, Joey, but looking for continuation on MDLN.
All right, good stuff, man. We tapped into 94.30s and then aggressively met by some defense here. So someone just smashing the bid to the downside. You ran right into 94.30. Boom, instant flush to the instant flush to the downside. So there's some heavy defense going on currently right now. So until that seller is lifted, we're going to be probably just stuck in the abyss. So would you just say it? Okay. All right, cool. Yeah, so let's send it over. Bang, Obi. Obi's clapping.
Obi's getting lit.
He's getting lit. All right. Speaking of lit.
I like it. I like it very much.
Let's head over to Adair. Well, Adair's not lit, but let's head over to Adair and see what she's got. Yeah, well, she's lit in that context. That's good.
Yeah, I don't plan, bro.
Thanking our sponsors. We're going to take a moment to shout out our friends at Origenics, OGEN, because concussions demand fast solutions, and NYST listed Origenics OGEN is developing one designed to reach the brain quickly and not invasively. How can you learn more? Schedule a meeting today. Thank you to Origenics, and also thank you to some interesting action here, I guess, for the last week of this trading session, this holiday shortened trading session here on the Nasdaq and the S&P 500. Interesting patterns of lower highs and higher lows, but we might look to break that with regards to these higher lows on the 15-minute right now on the Nasdaq. Right now, just picking a slightly higher low off this 623.74 level. So interesting levels coming into play for the market. I do have to talk about one of the biggest catalysts of the day, certainly heading into the morning. NVDA looking very much like the market with these kind of wedge-like pattern, getting $275 price target maintained by no less than 3 analysts after the company does strike a deal here with Grok. GROQ is the spelling of this, so it's not Grok from Elon Musk. But this AI startup Grok here is going to be getting this asset deal with NVIDIA. NVIDIA will also be taking some executives from the company, so interesting look for them. TGT also had a really interesting look, as you can see, spiking all the way up to 103 before pulling back quite considerably after Financial Times reports that an activist investor by the name of Tom's Capital Investment Management is apparently building a stake in TGT. So quite a few tickers to look at today. In addition to NVIDIA, AMD, Micron, SanDisk, some other plays in the semiconductor and memory space are definitely going to be on watch. But you know what else is on watch? The Midday Show. Let's go right back to Sharif and Joe.
All right, man. There goes MDLN. Oh, my goodness. The breakout is on. It's a 50 penny 50 penny high. We're waiting at 48s, man. Just cross and give me the freaking print already. My goodness. Back into 40s it goes. So MDLN, big breakout candle now off that 10 EMA on the 5. I literally have the low of this candle, and more pleased I could not be, okay? What a move up here for MDLN. We took the breakout on this one. It wasn't really up much on the day, so it was already a risk to take it because it wouldn't be on everybody's radar, but it's paying, and I'm looking for more here on it. So let's pack the patience. Anything below my entry ends the day. Ends the trade, I should say, not the day. Also, looking for continuation. Where is it? On GSIT. we have the bottom wick right now. So we have 705. It's showing me 720s. I've wet the beak. Now I'm waiting at 33s. Keep your eye here on GSIT. I have a bias that this one is still trading within a range. If it continues to trade within the range, I'm going to continue to trade it as a range trade. I had to pack my patience with this one in the same way that I didn't with FJet. You know, just getting in aggressively at every level and hoping it would pop. I didn't do that with GSIT. I sat there kind of waiting for that volume weighted average price, $7 to come in. And I feel like I was rewarded with that with the patience. So hopefully more of that, less FJet trading. But now I'm packing the patience here on the MDLN trade, looking for this one to take out area highs. I don't really have anything else. Oh, I negated to mention I stopped out of PAVS for the last remaining amount. Break even, we got out right there, just where we got in, as I didn't want this one to go against me. That 30 seller is right now, he's leading the downtrend because we can't really print anything above 30. So until and if we print something above 30, I'm gonna steer clear of PAVS. All right, what do we got over here on MDLN? It's coming back down into the quarter dollar. So we'll see if this one comes back in. I only got one more beak wetter here, and that beak wetter should have been printed, but the spread didn't allow it to. 47s is what I'm waiting at. It's showing me 30s. Anything below my entry at 12s really does end the trade for me. And that would have to mean that this current candle ends up going red after being decidedly green. So we're going to move up the stop from south of 45 now, literally to a penny below my entry. So there we go. And then we'll give that one about, you know, a couple pennies offset in case it does catch, in case I do get caught in an area of illiquidity. So that's it for MDLN. GSIT continues to trend up. There you go. We got 05s now. It's showing me 23s, looking for 33s. So I'm going to continue to pack the patience on GSIT for the higher end of the range in the same way that I packed the patience for the lower end. And here it comes into 26s now. Good area high here for GSIT. I'm waiting a little bit above 30, so let's see if we can get a more aggressive price spike up and take out that order that's waiting above 30. I saw momentarily there 27s flash at me, but didn't really hang out there for very long at all. NCL, guys, is continuing to trade well, despite the fact that, you know, it's south of $1, and I don't like trading these ones. What does it trade on? NQ? Nope. NY? Nope. Oh, the dreaded exchange. The Amex exchange, oh no. So NCL, 42.35 high, coming back down now, trying to hold 30. It looks like a bull flag with the breakout coming in at 11.45, but you never really know with these ones, right? Especially these Amex stocks. Look for a continuation in a 50. I would have a bias of a 35, 37 penny hold, just given that we consolidated there for a few minutes. If it holds there, great. Look for a squeeze into 50. Other than that, I don't have a trade on it. Outlaw Trader, looks like GSIT has some heavy sellers around 745, 765, and 775. Yeah, they're setting up at literally every 10 or 20 pennies. I'm going to end my trade on GSIT into about 33s. That is, of course, predicated upon clearing 30s. It's had trouble with 30s, so it hasn't been spending too much time above that level. I'm alive to that as well. ASPC. Yeah, ASPC is the ticker. I wanted to mention this. This could be a flat top break, guys. Here it comes. It looks like it's already forming through 32. Flat top break, possibly through 32. It's already rocketing up 32.66. ASPC could be really, oh, wow, what a move up, man. It was 31.50. It's 34, 35. ASPC's breaking out right as we speak. So the flat top break is absolute money with the higher low and the flat top into 32. 35, 31 high, Joey. We haven't quite made it up there yet, but it feels like this one could halt. Nope, not quite yet. It just wasn't trading. So ASPC on the way up. We got nothing on this one, but I'll set up on it if it's warranted. It's the #1 gapper in the market now, up 160%.
Dang. All right, we like that, man. We're still sitting in this trade right here. A lot of defense going on. So hopefully this is just a little bit of accumulation before we start to climb a little bit higher. I mean, I could take some off at 94.30s, but that's small potatoes. That'd be at a 1-to-1. We don't want to get too ahead of ourselves either. So we'll sit in this grind until proven otherwise, and we're going to sit and wait for those targets as well. So there is some big-time defense being displayed at 94.25. We continuously watch the tape. We break through it, but then it's immediately met by some clean flushes to the downside. Once we have the ability to sit on top of 94.30, I think that we can maybe get a nice little move to 35s and even 40s. But we don't want to get too wishful, right? Prepare for the worst, hope for the best. All right. So what was I going to do? Yeah, that's it. Netflix options chain. Let's take a look. Guys, any options questions leading into the new year? Type in your New Year's resolution as well, too. So I'm curious to what everybody has and plans for themselves leading into 2026. Because I think everyone has theirs. They want to get a little bit better. So why not start today? Don't wait until the actual bell drops. That's what it is, right? All right, so as for Netflix, guys, at that $95 level, we have 12,100 contracts. That's going to be the second largest. I like this. I like it a lot. Let's head over, because this is going to expire today. So let's go over to our next expiration cycle and see what we got kicking over at that $100 level. And I remember January 16th had substantial size on some names. So maybe by Jan 16th, considering we have a high concentration of call optional activity right there at that $100 strike price, I like our chances. I'm in at 93.44s, so 103 or 103.44, and in the dream, 113.44 would be my ideal targets, considering you guys clearly see how many shares I have of this thing. Nothing substantial whatsoever. A nice little swing. I am trying to catch a falling knife, right? So that's why I don't think you go pedal to the metal at this point. So a small lot, one lot, looking for that swing trade, looking for that 10-point move, that 20-point move in the span maybe of hopefully a couple of months if we're fortunate in it. And you know what that will come up to, a couple grand here to start off the new year. If I'm fortunate enough and God willing, it allows me to be the beneficiary of extracting some profits from Netflix. Man, the top is really going off over here, man. We got to get a haircut. I'm going bald soon, that's for sure. So yeah. It's I don't got much. Hey, it's not that funny. See, I don't got that much time. I don't got that much time left, man. It is ticking away. You know, what are those things called where you have the sand in them and you flip it up and down?
Sand timer.
You know what? You guys know what?
You mean an hourglass?
Hourglass. I was gonna say that. Well, no, an hourglass. All right, so that's it. Mine is definitely in that realm right there. So don't get on the Rogan either. That stuff is not good for you. Are you guys laughing at me back there? Yeah, well, hey, man, if you want to donate to the hair transplant, by all means, your boy will gladly take a trip over to Turkey and see what we got going on. Other than that, my dad's bald, my uncle's bald, everybody is bald. So, you know, it's almost inevitable, man. Just looking at myself on the screen, it's a tough look, man. Used to have a full head of hair. Pre-trading, no grays, full head of hair. Trading, grays, no hair. I can hear you now.
How is it going to get fixed?
Now I can't hear you.
Okay.
You just left.
Can you put me in Joe's ear?
No, you just left, Ramin. I can't hear you. I don't know what you said. So there it is, 100. I mentioned it. No trading, full hair. Trading, no hair. All right, so there it is, $100, 58,700 contracts at that specific zone. I like the chances of us getting into that time frame in and around that specific level by January 16th. So that's going to be approximately 21 days. Let's pull up the actual options activity. Okay, say what you have to say now, Ramin.
I said, how are you going to keep complaining and not do anything to fix it?
And
He's trying, Ram. He just can't figure it out because he uses the trading view charts that...
No, he's talking about my hair.
Oh, you're talking about my hair, yeah. It's not that easy.
You don't listen to me, though.
Brother, I tried all of that.
No, you didn't.
Oh, that's crazy. I will never end up like that.
Hold on. You don't know that, brother. How can you say that?
I promise you.
How are you certain of that?
Because I will make sure I have no hair at all times. There's zero. I will be bald.
Hold on.
I will never go out with this.
You reacted negatively to minoxidil. Minoxidil doesn't work the same way as finasteride.
But then I was taking biotin
That's
as
not
well,
the same thing, bro. DHT, dihydrotestosterone.
Yeah.
It's this like type of testosterone that just builds up at the hair follicle, and it keeps building up. And every time the hair follicle goes through a cycle, the buildup makes it grow thinner and thinner. So what the what's it called, finasteride does is it removes those DHT molecules. It will initially, yes, but you will balance out after. And some guys are a lot worse. Some guys they handle it a lot better. It really does depend on you.
Yeah. Well, the hair
but
girl
it was
that
not
I was
going to make
taking,
you dizzy, though. That's what I really want to stress.
Well, that's what you can feel. I got PTSD
because I know you didn't
from
like
that.
I know you didn't like it, and I'm only mentioning because you mentioned it, right?
Yeah. I mentioned it because I looked at in the camera and I'm like, oh no. But hey, man, we're gonna get.
I think your hair looks fine, brother, but you keep bringing it up, so I'm just trying to.
Yeah, you helping up, dude. The hair grow that I had the
DHT stuff.
Yeah.
Finasteride?
Yeah.
No, biotin's one thing. Biotin's good. I'm not trying to.
It's all in that.
Can you send me a picture?
Yeah, I will.
It's literally called finasteride.
I stopped taking it though.
You stopped taking it?
Yeah, I stopped taking it. Boy, I mean.
You don't like it, eh?
No.
All right, well, it's okay.
Hey, man.
There's
I
always
think next up is turkey. If we hit on this Netflix trade, that could.
Hey! This guy. I love it. All right, man. TI. Oh, I see it. What the hell is this? Not TI from Atlanta, Ram. But I know what you're thinking about. I like him. Shout out to TI, man. Remember, you know that song? You can have whatever you like.
With him?
What's that?
With T.I. I made a documentary with him.
You made a documentary
Well,
with
he was
him?
high out of his
No
mind.
way. Get it, Ram. I like that. It's TII, guys. So TI, those are not ones. TII, breakout. We're up 58 and change. We've only done, though, 1.43 million shares. So the shareage here is still a little bit light, but the chart pattern and the breakout is on. It probably behooves you, if you are a small cap trader, to keep an eye out on this one. I'm taking out PCLA because it looks like hot garbage, and we're going to put TII on that because that one could be really good. Now, the way that I see it, I'm not going to be punching in at highs. You guys know my style, but the deal is we're going to be looking for a 3.5 to 360 retracement. The reason I say that is a couple of reasons. One, VWAP is like 355, so that could be an important area of technical support. And then I'm also looking at the breakout area. You guys see that topping tail candle, the red one. Well, that rejected off the $0.50. So that tells me that that was a key area of technical resistance. Not surprised by that, as it's obviously psychological resistance at times. But it could also be support now having been cleared because this thing's got a high day 418. So I'm all ears, eyes, and whatever the hell else here for TII. It's up 58 and change, but your boy's not going to be punching in at the high. That's just the way that I operate. GSIT continues to reject off 30, but here comes 28. We've got 5s on, and I'm looking for a 33 beak wetter. This one has been putting in 3 lower highs in a row on the 5 minutes. So even though here's 31, 32 now, can we get a clearing into 33? It's a 4-penny spread, 3-penny spread as the spread opens up. Well, now here it goes again with that 730 seller. But we did get a print for the first time above 730, not high enough though to get me printed at 33, so we'll pack the patience. So yeah, 360 to 350 buy zone on TII. Let's take off. Who are we gonna take off here, Joey? We're gonna have to take off somebody. Yeah, we're going to take off AZI. So we're going to go TII on the NQ, correct? Incorrect. NY? Incorrect. AMX? No. It's on the MX, not again.
Don't do it.
All right. And you know what I'm going to say, right? There goes GSIT in the 38s, flat top break through 30. We have low wick on this one, 05s. Here comes 40 on GSIT. It's up 21 and change. FJet feels like a a very long time ago now in the rear view. That's my only negative trade on the day. But because of that, full disclosure, we are still negative, but we are working out of it. And hopefully by the end of the day, we'll be positive with GSIT really helping move the needle over here. Now we're going to keep an eye here on TII. Joey, what do you got, my man?
Yeah, good stuff, man. I'm just catching that up. Oh, man. All right, yeah. I'm speaking. Relax, man. I was just trying to say something. I wanted to say something, but I'm not going to say it. So,
get him,
yeah,
Ram.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, NFLX, guys, we're still sitting in this trade. A lot of chop and churn right here, around 94.20. Ram. Ram, I know so. I'm gonna say something, so you be nice to me, all right? Because I
see what see what she did on the video because I was livid on Friday.
Which
she like included like a video of me
from
of different and there's like a picture of you where I'm wearing a pink shirt and then like she puts me in a black shirt. I'm like, man,
that's great,
bro.
Man, that's
I just
crazy.
found the best moment of you.
I
found the best moment. Yeah, there we go. Bang. As for Palantir,
Say it, Joey. Say it with your chest. What do you have to say about me?
Want me to say it?
Yeah,
Should I say what I told you this morning?
Yeah.
All right, so Katina Man and Ramin were like, hey, do you want to use my Uber Eats thing? And we're like, I don't know if that's a good idea, to be honest with you. Because Ramin came up to me one day and she's like, yeah, I just sold $20 worth of Ethereum to buy Wingstop. And I'm like,
What a great investment, Ram
like,
Ram. You
what?
remind me of the people who
I'm
sold
like,
Bitcoin for like $15 to get
they
pizza.
bought like 10. I'm like, you just did what? You sold,
Dying right now.
you
I'll
sold
buy it again. It's
Ethereum
dying
to
right now.
buy Wingstop. I'm like, oh man, come on, man, that's crazy stuff. And then one morning, 9 a.m., Wingstop right on the desk. And I'm like, what is going on here with the Wingstop, man?
She likes it, man. She's been a fan of
crazy
Wingstop
being
for a
with
minute.
Wingstop, yeah, man.
There's one near my house, but I don't think I've ever
Ramin,
tried it.
considering you're a big fan of Wingstop, do you own shares in Wingstop?
No, because I'm an idiot.
Oh, so
Ram
there
Ram,
you
can
go,
they hear
man.
you?
They can hear me.
They can,
Every time
amazing.
I speak, they can
Ram
hear
Ram,
me.
can
All
you
right,
can
good,
you
that's
tell
good.
us? The people want to know, Ram Ram.
Yeah.
What you have in that very coveted portfolio of yours?
Yeah,
What
we
stocks
know.
do you own, Ram Ram? Tell the people.
Okay, wait, let me pull it up.
Oh, we're gonna
Pull up.
pull up,
Distract
yeah.
me
Pull
for a
up,
second.
pull up. Yeah, all right, man.
Distract
We're
you.
gonna
You
make
know
this
what
Rick
she's got,
Ross
bro.
ad-libs for sure.
Crazy.
All right, come on.
Wow, GSIT, man.
X, what do you got going on there, man?
GSIT,
Look how long I've been
Joey?
seeing this chop fest.
It's taking out highs. Here comes 750, guys, on GSIT. Unreal, guys, 748, but I'm being yelled at by the chat. I'm being told that I'm missing the breakout right now on square foot. SQFT. I'm going to call this square foot. You guys know that I'm going to do that. On the NQ, yes, square foot on the NQ. SQFT. Up 22%, flat top break through 380, coming down below 4. But Ram Ram, square foot can wait. The people want to know what the Ram Ram has in the profile.
Okay, over the last year, 2025 is the first, actually no, late 2024 is when I bought my first stock, which was Rivian.
Rivian, I remember
And
that.
then we got NVIDIA.
Okay.
And then this year, we got AVGO, AMD, IBIT, Netflix, Open Door, and SPY.
Those are all
And
excellent.
then I have CMBM, but that's like my shit trade.
What?
Like
CMBM?
Yeah, I made $100 on it, and then now I just have it chilling in there.
You're in the money on it and you're letting it ride.
So what you're saying, you're
I
sitting
got
on a
that.
little cash there.
I like
Ramin.
that.
Oh, no, she made $100 and then now she's just chilling on
I
it.
like all those. Obviously, can you guess which one of my favorite is?
AVGL. boy.
Guy knows me too well, bro.
there we go.
Guy knows me too well. But did you see the Jensen pickup of Grok?
Yeah.
It's exactly what we've been saying. Jensen's alive to what's happening in the market. He sees that it's going in that custom silicon direction, and he wants some of that smoke.
Of course he
You know what I
does,
mean?
man.
Like
You
he
have to.
sees where the direction of
You don't
where it's
just
going.
you just don't become a big boy overnight, man. You got to be nimble, like
gotta be
water,
nimble.
like what is Bruce Lee says? It's
Bruce
right,
Lee.
become water, right? So as soon as you pour water into a cup, it becomes the cup. All right, but
Fantastic. Look for
but all right,
the
guys, there we go. Sharif, finally we're breaking through this downtrend line. I think at this point right here in NFLX, if we're going to punch through 94.30s, it's going to be right here, right now, relatively soon. All right, so I'm going to be patient. Okay, boom, heavy rejection. So something going on, a big-time accumulation phase going on in NFLX. Well, I shouldn't say big-time considering. What time did we enter this trade? 11:50. So we've been in it for 30 minutes, and we haven't really got what we wanted so far. At this point, I might have to come to the conclusion, if that wasn't the move to the top side, then I think we're just going to eventually tank, and it looks like we're headed in that direction right now. So I'll be patient. I talked about how this is going to be a key level, that 94.13 level in NFLX. If it breaks that, then I think we're going to run into our stop loss at 94.10. The next step would be to be patient, sit on your hands a little bit, and wait to what the volume weighted average price tells you, and then you can base a trade off of that. So that's what I got going on as the market. The Qs and the SPY have broken neckline. NVDA is broken neckline. Palantir is pretty weak on the session as well too, guys, so keep an eye out on that. And we have SLV starting to step back or pull back a little bit as well too. But there's Palantir, an aggressive move to the downside here, straight out of the opening drive. 5-minute orb traders really liking this one, and you're continuing its flush and the move to the lower end of the range. You can see that we failed to establish a new high here. I don't like that look whatsoever. Consolidation, curl over, wait for better prices. I think right now is a good time to be sitting on a little bit of cash. We have a lot of strong names at all-time highs. Sit on the cash and wait for lower prices because I think it's going to come.
So remember when we were talking about Broadcom, and I said I didn't really want to make the same mistake that I made with Meta, which is, when you see that big red candle start salivating and you just punch in, right?
Yeah.
And then what ended up forcing me to do is to average in. Now I'm happy having averaged in. I'm not happy with the price because I got those real lows there in the 500s.
The execution.
But I have more than I want. So I got a couple of choices, right? I can take some off the table now or whatever, or you can just let it ride. But I just don't want to be in the position where I'm forced to DCA rather than having DCA'd with a plan.
Yeah,
and so,
absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So let's look at AVGO's daily here. And we're going to look at the weekly as well. So I did like the fact that it held this general area, this 330 area, because we were talking about this 330 area being an important area of technical support. This is the daily for Broadcom. Let me just throw in the ticker, excuse me, so everybody can follow along. So this 330 shelf, we came into that early September. We had a very aggressive sell-off on the 10th of October. We ended up closing above the lows, but we were a skosh, I want to say, below 330. We ended up using 330 again as support on the 14th of November and again on the 21st of November. And then we lost it quite decisively on that really, really big red day on the 17th. But look how quickly we've kind of gained that again. So what I want to say was I wasn't looking just for that 330 area. I was looking for the 330 area to hold generally. And then I want to see higher lows. It's not always the case that you're going to see higher highs because you could end up, encountering the same area of resistance. But it's important to see the higher lows because that shows buyer exuberance, that buyers are willing to pay higher and higher prices on every incremental drop. So that's what we've been seeing here quite a bit. Ever since that 17th area low, it's been higher low on the 18th, higher low on the 19th, the 22nd, again on the 23rd. You got it on the 24th. And today, technically, I do believe we have our higher low, even though it's basically a candle of indecision. So I think it might be time to punch into Broadcom. Obviously, I think, everybody's strategy is going to be a little bit different. Some people will get the full position here. Some people will add along the way and, kind of use the profits that they're in as their backstop. But Broadcom, definitely going to be one I'm going to punch into, Joey. They lead the custom silicon business.
Yeah, I like that. I like that play. All right, guys, for too long, trading meant risking your own money or never having enough to start. The fear of losing, that's what kept so many traders on the sidelines. But that's changing. Trade the Pool is transforming how traders access the markets with its limited risk trading models. Traders use funded capital while Trade the Pool absorbs the downside. This allows traders to focus on what truly matters: discipline, consistency, and growth. When you hit the profit target, you keep 70% of the profits. No fear, no barriers, just real opportunity. This is the revolution of limited risk trading powered by Trade the Pool. Visit tradethepool.com or scan the QR code now to get 10% off your first evaluation. All right, guys. So yeah, we got out of Netflix exactly when we said we were going to, right at 10s, and it got a little bit of a bounce. But I mean, we can't play that what if history. It came into our position, ran right into the volume weighted average price, and bounced off of it. So the sellers ended up winning this battle right here, guys. You can see that one was stepping in at 94.24s continuously, and then eventually you have kind of that capitulatory price action. You break down, and sure enough, 94.05s was that specific level. All right, so we'll keep an eye out. There was a nice indecision print here on the Qs on 5-minute time frame. You're getting a bounce off of that zone. That ship is now sailed, so I'm not going to be chasing that whatsoever. I took my one stab. I like the opportunity, considering it was one of the stronger names. Could it be just a liquidity grab? Absolutely, before we climb higher. Essentially, what I was going long off here was this hammer candle. I don't know why this thing, it's really wonky at times, guys. It will show VWAP at times. It won't. Some days it's in a good mood. Some days it's not, essentially. And it just really, really is frustrating at times. Shreves is like, hey, I don't even know what's going on with your charting. I don't either, brother, at times. So I
switch to the OG
I can't,
charts,
bro. It's not a my boy.
Switch to the OG charts.
They're not, I don't like.
I never have problems with these.
I know, man. I know.
I'm telling you, you'll love them once you get used to them. I know you're
I use
on
it for
trading.
Blue O.
You do, yeah. That's
remember
right.
I told you, I use them for Blue O.
That's fair.
It's just I can do so much more with this one here. I find like there's a lot more tools and stuff like that. So there's NFLX. starting to get a little bit of a rebound. A nice bounce in the Qs on the 1 minute. This is the
Sorry,
5
I'm
minute
sending you
print.
something for myself.
Yeah,
My
for
bad.
sure.
Yeah.
Well, I do that to you all the time.
I know, you don't want me to
So
do it.
there it is. The 5 minute print, 623. You're getting that bounce right into VWAP, holding through some key support levels. Keep an eye out on this, guys. You might get a rebound, and who knows? Maybe we grind the rest of the day in the T triple Qs and the Nasdaq and SPY.
Ram, what do you think of these?
Sick.
How
If only you had
unbelievably
your old car still.
blue they are. I know, right? You like shocks?
Are those yours? Yeah, I do.
I'm getting
I used to
these. I'm
have
gonna
them.
pick them up.
I used to have all black shocks.
All black, yeah, I
Yeah,
got
I
the
like
all
the-
black.
yeah, I
So
like
sick,
the- yeah,
because
I
they
like-
go with everything,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But this could go with like solid colors as well. And Joey, I bought a whole bunch of Nike shocks back in like 20, right when the pandemic started. This guy was unloading his entire, I guess, shoe collection.
Yeah.
And there's another guy online now that wants to unload all his shocks, and he's got all the different colors. This is one of
You
them.
like that?
Bro, these are so sick.
Yeah, I like them.
Pick these up, man. Might have to give some of the gift cards away that I got for Christmas and cash those out. pick up these ones, man. You guys like the blue? Tell me what you guys think in the chat, man. I'm gonna pick these up today. Well, I was actually gonna go tomorrow because of the ridiculous snow.
Darwin asked if
Darwin's
the car.
asking you something.
Oh, is he asking about the mat?
Yeah, the car.
The mat's gone, Darwin, because the car is gone, Darwin. No, I gave him the mat, man. I gave him everything. I'm like, just take this car off my hand. He didn't actually buy the snow tires, though. I couldn't understand for the life of me why he didn't want the snow tires. He's like, bro, they're huge. They're 22s. I don't want to be driving around on 22 snow tires. So he's putting smaller wheels, the guy that bought my car, and he's going to put 20s on those. He's going to put 20-inch tires. So he doesn't want the R22s like I have there. But I mean, I didn't have a problem, Ram, with the snow tires last year. I drove with them on the 22s. No, I got all seasons for the summer, and then I got winters, but they're just bigger. So you're gonna encounter potholes and stuff like that. It's not gonna feel great, but they operate great as winter tires. But shout out to you, make me chuckle, man. Those were interesting times, to say the least. Oh, we love blue like London. Oh wow, Team Money, you're like that. Hey, you're gonna encourage Joey. Now we're gonna hear London is blue. Chelsea sucks, bro. I'm sorry, you guys.
I'm gonna just start watching
Chelsea
Champions League so I can see how good Chelsea.
You gotta watch Prem, man.
Yeah, Prem.
Let's look at Nike for down to sky 404. By the way, I want to mention ASPC was halted. I think it is open now. Where is it at? There it is. We'll take off Velo. We'll put ASPC. Sorry, guys. I'm going to get to Nike in a second, but ASPC, here comes $40. This has been awfully strong today. It's 39.60 high. You feel, oh, wow, there it goes into 41. It's a 41.06 high now. Very, very strong here, ASPC. This was halted up earlier. Look for the micro pullbacks if you're gonna buy this. Wait till it does a bit of a micro pullback. Use a smaller time frame like the 5-second chart, something like that, just a spot where the buyers are stepping in. Let's see the pullback now. Let's see where it comes into. So what I'll be looking at is my top screen where I've got the 5-second chart on. It doesn't look like it's losing support. Here comes 39, okay? Just as I spoke there, it dropped below 40s, right back into 41. The strength is still there. Higher lows right now on ASPC. So if you're looking for a buy, you've still got higher lows right now on this name. 41.50 seller. We can't shake the 41.50 seller. Even though it's a 41.81 high a day, there's a seller at 50. And, you know, it's only the 5-second chart, of course, but he's rejected the last, I want to say, 6 5-second bars at 50. There it goes, momentarily above it, but right back below goes. So that 41.50 seller, a staunchy bugger, but he's getting removed. $42 high a day now. Good strength here on ASPC, 42.35. This is really going 43.50. It's on the rampage to the high side. There's 44.45. That is limit up. So that red rectangle right there showing 44.45, that is a limit up. So if we hit that, there's a halt parameter, false halt, we drop, it's still 45. So every time that shows up, that means we're below it. When it disappears, the red rectangle, that means we're at it. And then you'll have to look at the time in sales to see the price. It'll say 45. Okay, new limit up now, not from 45 anymore, 45.70 as the clock resets. So recall, it's 10% within 5 minutes. So every time the price and the time adjust, so will this. So no halt right now on ASPC, but a breakout, an aggressive breakout through 37.50 and into 44.45. Great strength today on ASPC. I didn't get an opportunity to get in, and now we have a bit of a downtrend. We're putting in lower highs on the 5-second chart. There does seem to be, for the moment, a 41 buyer. But that was only one candle that showed the 41 buyer there. Here we go, down into 41.25. So I'm looking at my 5-second chart, and the trend is now down on the 5 seconds. So let's see if the trend can change and start putting in higher lows and higher highs to kind of test that 44, 45 high again. 43 just got touched and it dropped, but it broke trend for the moment. Current bar low 42. Let's see if we can kind of weasel into this one. The spread is prohibitively wide, 6 pennies. Now, sorry, 60 pennies. Now it's opening up to $1.20. So that is part of the problem with this one, of course, and that's why I haven't been quick to jump into it. But it's a fantastic looking name on the day. It's a bit more expensive, of course, for the small cap gapper traders. Usually we're used to a few bucks here and there, but this one's a lot more expensive and a lot more spready and volatile for that matter. So great look, but haven't executed anything on it. Here comes again, here comes 43. So it's putting in marginally higher lows now on the 5-second chart, but it's got a 43 seller. If we can take out that 43 seller, could be an interesting move into that high day of 44.55. Let's continue to watch over here. Can we take out the 43 seller? We're putting in higher lows. There's 43 again, can't shake 43. So continuing to watch here, guys. What I'm looking for is that 43 area to reject with higher lows. So creates that ascending wedge pattern. And we look for a flat top break through 43. 42.90 showing up now, Joey. So that's what I'm looking for. Look for a decisive move above 43 and or the higher lows to manifest still into 43. There's 43 again. Unable to print anything above it. So that 43 seller, there we go. Above it on the bid, not quite yet. Not quite yet. So packing the patience here, looking for continuation. What do you got?
Out of Netflix exactly when we were supposed to. Hasn't been doing too much. I tried to find some of the stronger names. I think we're in the right place, maybe just not the right time. It's still selling here a little bit, guys. I don't know what the heck is going on here, but okay, so what's Ethereum up to? A nice little pop, actually. You can see the volume start to step in, guys. So I'm just running through my scanner, looking for some solid indecision prints at extreme highs or extreme lows. But again, right now, I was talking to a Rune Warrior. He's like, yeah, Joe, you're just waiting to pounce. Absolutely. We waited for some time. We were posted up at that specific level on Netflix. We got that fill, but there's an aggressive seller at 94.25s, and they ended up winning the battle, which is totally fine. We're going to wait for that next opportunity, because all it takes is one trade to go nicely green. So we'll wait. It may or may not come today. And I have no issues with it not whatsoever. So I'll sit on my hands. It may not be the most active session for me, and nor am I going to apologize for it, because I want to put on good trades. And with that, it takes some time sometimes, right? A lot of activity, you get those indecision prints, we can be more active. Not so much volatility and activity within the overall market. We don't need to be as active person for my style and as aggressive, all right? So APLD, what have you been up to, Applied Digital? A lot of liquidity here on the lower time frames. You can see it on the 1 minute, guys. We're running into some issues there. CoreWeave did get a nice little bounce. I tried trading this name a couple times aside from the IPO. Not the cleanest, but that's a nice little move to the downside. You hold that wick low on volume, right? Look at the volume correlating with the price at an extreme low, and then sure enough, it holds that level and then off to the races. Now we have an inverted right above the volume weighted average price. So there it is. XPEV, what are you up to? A nice pop here earlier in the day. If we head over to the 5 minute time frame, you can see throughout the session strong drives and continuous movement. So I've been having to do this. So what essentially it's doing right now is not showing, it's only showing regular traded. So we want to go to extended, and then that's when it's going to kind of separate the pre-market price action from what we got going on from the intraday standpoint. So now as for Rocket Labs as well too, this name has been extremely hot as of late. Nice indecision print off the low, holds the wick low, breaks higher, rejecting the volume weighted average price right now. SMR, what have you been up to? A guy from work, literally his name in the chat, a guy from work. We were talking about this one here. At the break of 18, we did get that nice little pop, but no continuation whatsoever. So just on the prowl, essentially, looking for some high-quality opportunity. There's the Netflix bounce. As soon as it breaks that wick low, we're at a dodge on the swing trade, and we'll end up taking the loss. But if not, we're going to get that pop, and I believe we can head into that 103 level, even maybe a little bit higher. This would be an absolute beautiful pivot level to get involved with. $110, that would be an insane target if we held it. But again, relatively weak for the current sentiment is relatively weak. Soundhound not doing too much on the daily either. So a lot of names have pulled back off of their highs. If you're sitting on some cash, I think we can wait a little bit longer and even get some better prices in some of the bigger names as well too.
All right, guys, stopped out of ASPC, took a bit of a hit. We took about 25-penny hit there as it didn't hold trend, but it looks like it might be making another attempt at 43.50. Keeping an eye on this one, but don't want to be quick to jump in. I did want to mention this. So I was saying that XPEV was strong on the day. It's continuing to go, guys. 7 2/3. Thank you for sending me this, Ram. I couldn't find exactly why. Oh, now it's coming in. Okay. XPEC shares are trading higher following reports suggesting the company announced entry into Qatar and a partnership with Mauritian distributor Access Limited. The stock may see strength in response to China's new energy-consuming standard for EVs. Let's see what else this one has to say. So it says it also introduced the G9 and the G6 SUVs in Qatar with plans for upcoming local launch of the P7 Plus sedan. That says it's imminent. Qatar will serve as a vital gateway for us to connect with global users, showcase cutting-edge smart tech, and deliver premium mobility experience. This general manager of XPeng's Middle East and Africa region said the company also announced a strategic partnership with Access Limited. All right, interesting. Look, thank you for that, Ramram. That actually just came in not that long ago. I want to say about 10 minutes or so ago. I couldn't really figure out what was going on. The headline that Ramram sent me was XPeng steps up Go Global drive with Malaysian assembly hub for Southeast Asia. So that's probably another headline there as they look to expand globally. Feels like maybe they've kind of tapped the Chinese market to the best that they could. Now they're looking for new customers abroad. It's become like almost a race to the bottom in terms of price for some of these EVs in China. $45 coming in quite hot here. I should have been holding this one. There it goes, 46 bucks. This one is on a breakout right now. ASPC 47.58. Halt parameter is at 58s. So if we stay at this price for another 6 or 7 seconds, we're going to halt here, 47.58 here on ASPC. What a rocket ship this bad boy is. Somebody was calling this a penny stock in the chat, man. I don't know. It's 48 bucks, man. It's not a penny stock, but it's certainly moving like one. I'll give you that. But that just gives you opportunities for intraday profits, man. So ASPC up 254%, Joey. What a rocket ship.
Yeah, nice look there on ASPC. There it is, a nice little pop in NFLX, an indecision print off of the lows. This is going to be VWAP right here, guys, so keep an eye out on this as you're getting that nice 10-15 cent bounce right now in NFLX. Trying to figure out if I should take profit, but it's trending up and up and up. I mean, it depends how many you have, right? Like, there's nothing wrong with trimming a little bit. 20% or so, 10, 15, 20%, I think is pretty good. Even 30% if you want to take a little bit off. So I'm glad that you're profitable on that trade. This is our only trade here on the session. We can get right back in that VWAP, especially if we get that retest. We're heading right back to my entry price, but look at the volume, relatively cool, right? So I'm going to be keeping my eyes on that, guys. It was a nice bounce, so that could have been the liquidity absorbed and needed in order for us to climb a little bit higher. Do I get right back in at my old previous price? No, I don't think so. I think that maybe we can get a little bit better of one, but the strength is really starting to step in. This is a big time engulfing print. There it is. Do we take one more stab on this NFLX trade? Let me get to a different time frame. It's going to give me a much bigger story here. I have no idea what's going on. This is insane. But there it is, a nice bounce. Downtrend still intact, so keep an eye out on what we got going on here. yeah, make sure you guys like and subscribe, please and thank you. Christmas holidays, it doesn't cost you much, just a click of the finger. Joe, time to enter Tesla. I don't like Tesla all the way up here. Scott Tomlinson and I were just talking about it. I said, hey, wait till it comes back into VWAP, and then I think you can make some pretty solid decisions based off of that. We're at that level right now. I'm going to be looking how price reacts around that zone. So what I got going on right now is just sniping NFLX if I can get a good quality opportunity. This would obviously have been the ideal entry. We didn't get that. We didn't post up or anything along those lines. So that's what I am going to be continuously looking at. Guys, as for the TQs and the SPY, nice indecision print on the 5-minute, but a lot of zig and zag here today on today's session, right? And we expect that. Most people are probably just relaxing at home with their family, playing with all the gifts and everything that they received from yesterday. Boom, 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 boom. So nice ebb and flow within the overall market. Sideways is the direction. And I think that's the way we're going to continue throughout the remainder of the day, Sri.
Sorry, just let me log in here. I apologize. Give me one second.
So let's see what else we got going. Okay, we're right back at that 1920. I would have liked 1904s, but we didn't get it. And this is where I posted up. Scott, look at this. So I'm going to pull up TSLL, and as soon as I seen this, and we went over it earlier in the day, like shortly after we came on here, there's a bunch of things that just came together, right? So a couple puzzle pieces just perfectly fit together. Well, we have this indecision print right here, but what I was looking at was this massive engulfing volume print with some nice volume, but momentarily after that is when we get that additional indecision print at those lows, and you get that bounce, and so far the bounce has been sustained and continued. So this is where I wanted to get in. I posted up at 35s. This candle opened up at 36. I'm like, okay, I like this. I'll get in at 35, and then I'll risk until 25. 10 cents, right? That puts me below this wick low, but the bid just continued to just climb, 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 and climb, and you never got that pullback, which would have filled me at 1935. So that's why I'm currently not in this trade, is that I just never caught a fill. I didn't get a good enough price whatsoever. So there it is. Now back to 94.22s on NFLX. We're no longer in this one. I got 0 gifts, says Ozan. Ozan, I don't believe you, man. One bit. MU could be finally making a recovery, says Scott Tomlinson. Yeah, let's take a look at MU and see what we got going on. The quantum space, pretty weak still today. MU, see, that's the thing, guys. Momentum to the downside. 5-minute drive, I think, can be a massive teller of how the session is going to go. Does it always work that way? Absolutely not. But look at the volume and the momentum setup right here. And then now we're just not being able to find any buyers step right back into Micron. So keep an eye out on that. Head over to the daily, put in a new all-time high this morning, but now you're starting to give a little bit of that move. So with no price action actually moving to the top side, you still have a selling day and form an all-time high. 0 gifts. What else do we got? Machiavelli, I'm at home playing with all the gift cards you bought me. All right, man, I appreciate that. Don't spend it all in one place. You know I like to typically say that. Days like that, like today, call for an iron condor. Absolutely notorious. It's exactly what you want to form. Speaking of that, let's take a look at it.
EMT.
Thank you.
What did you call it? No, I say EMT.
ET phone home.
What is EMT?
EMT.
Phone home.
Yeah. You say EMT or ET?
Dude, I just say e-transfer.
E-transfer. I'm going to say e-transfer as well.
I'm not going to big up, bro. Let me EMT you.
I have never heard of EMT in my life.
Email money transfer.
It's
Ram.
ET.
I don't know. I say
I'm
EMT.
more or less curious what Katina Man's got in that bag. Oh, bro, what?
Where did you get
Went
it
and
from,
bought
Katina
that.
Man? Nice. Very nice.
I'll be honest with you, Katina Man, not my first choice. I'm not going to the deli to get it, but I'm just being honest, right? I'm not going to the deli to get a tuna sandwich.
The tuna sandwich at the deli, I see. Okay. You'd get meats, I'm assuming. Cured, salted meats.
No, man, I'm going to be honest. Like, I don't really go in the deli that much.
If you're going, what are you getting?
Well, if they got chicken parmesan sandwiches,
okay, that's fair. Yeah. We can go with that. They don't have that. That's okay, Katina, man. It's nice that you're helping local, buddy. EMT, emergency medical technician. Yes, Ozan, that is exactly it.
Ozan, this is Canada, brother.
They got Venmo and Cash App.
They got Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, like too much garbage.
They got a lot of things going on there, Joey.
And all we need is an email.
There we go. All right, let's start the news. We're going to go through. It's a light bunch today, and then we'll get back into trading. Not much to talk about, obviously, on this very shortened day, but we're going to get right down to it. Just trying to open up. Give me 1 second here. There we go. All right, let's talk a little bit about NVIDIA striking a deal for Grok, and it's not the Grok that you guys think about. It is another Grok with a Q, not a K. Chamath Palihapitiya, you may know him as the SPAC guy. He was involved in this. So happy was Chamath that, you know, he printed up several storms from this deal that he put like an AI picture of like Jensen popping out of a gift and him opening it up on Christmas morning. It's nice. It's nice that he's like, he's a deca billionaire now, apparently. And apparently Chamath's wealth was in question even amongst his own friends. They're like, Cal Canis on one of the episodes, like, you're a billionaire, apparently. So it's like, I didn't even know that was in question, but.
I'd be like, what?
Yeah, I know, right?
Like, apparently.
So NVIDIA, Joey, they've agreed to buy assets from Grok with a Q for $20 billion in cash. It is an asset deal, not a share deal. It marks NVIDIA's largest ever transaction, and it's structured, as I mentioned, as an asset purchase as well as an IP licensing agreement, not a full company acquisition. Grok is going to continue operating as an independent company with its cloud unit called Grok Cloud, explicitly excluded from the deal. That will not make part of the $20 billion asset purchase. NVIDIA is acquiring Grok's core inference, so not much in the way of training here with these chips. It's more of inference, and we've seen that become really the focus related to its assets alongside key talent. So it's picking up its inference technology and some key talent at the top. Now, that is separate typically from the asset deal where you're picking up the assets and not the people. In a share purchase, you're picking up employment contracts as well. Here, they've chosen to kind of do both as a hybrid, but probably not take everybody on, just key players from the company. The founder, Jonathan Ross, and President Sunny Madra, and other leaders, they're going to join NVIDIA's top brass to help scale the licensed technology. That's kind of what we mean there when we say it's a bit of a hybrid. They also plan to integrate Grok's low latency processors into its AI factory architecture and expand real-time and inference workloads. Jensen Huang, the CEO, of course, of NVIDIA, he emphasized that licensing IP and hiring talent is consistent with the prior ecosystem deals, so nothing untoward or unusual for NVIDIA. And Grok is being bought at a substantial premium here. Just about 3 months ago, I think in September, they raised $750 million at a valuation of $6.9 billion. They're now being acquired for 20. So what a move up, what a premium that is. NVIDIA's $20 billion price tag is highlighting the premium being placed on the inference speed leadership amid exploding AI demand. Just to give you some idea here of what Grok does in terms of revenue, they expect about $500 million in revenue, give or take, this year, driven by, of course, inference acceleration. And the founder, Jonathan Ross, he previously helped build Google's tensor processing unit, which is a form of ASIC, right? Which is a key alternative, states the article, to NVIDIA's GPUs, something we've been talking a lot about lately, Joey.
Yeah, I think just another play by Jensen being nimble here, going with the flow and seeing what's really in vogue right now. And that's a really big play. One thing I will note is that we've been seeing a lot of headlines revolving around NVDA. At the beginning of it, we'd get a lot of pops. You would see the stock continuously be running higher, running higher. I think that's really started to cool down. And I do believe that we're going to see like a little lower prices here in NVDA. It's just being prolonged. Why? I don't know. Just grabbing and absorbing a lot of liquidity before it starts distributing to the lower end. Here it is on the daily. At this point here, I thought we were going to break down. So I think it's going to be really important to know what goes on around this previous high, right? So if you fail to construct something around the 200, 205 level, watch out for this move lower. I think this is a little bit of extension, and if you ask me, we don't want to force the setup either, right? But this is awfully looking like a head and shoulders pattern to me. You get this nice bounce off of these lows. That support level at 170 was being held. But I think it's just one negative catalyst from coming away and then having an aggressive downside move. I mean, let's not beat around the bush on the fact that this is the strongest name in the market and has been and will be. That doesn't mean it can't pull back at some point, which I think is a little bit warranted at this point.
Well said, Joey. Yeah. All right, Adair, give us your take on this latest tie-up.
I think within NVIDIA, this deal is really key because I do want to mention initially this was reported by CNBC as a full acquisition. So CNBC reported citing some individual who was leading a group that had invested in Grok a while back. They basically said, hey, NVIDIA is doing a full acquisition, $20 billion acquisition. And I think this had really spooked investors because the vibe you were getting online and the vibe even communicated in the article was, there's a bit of trepidation there. That's quite a big investment. And so obviously, there's sometimes concerns with companies that acquire companies. And you've seen this with Netflix, with WBD, the stock drops a bit, right? Well, then we get the official announcement on Grok's website and they come out and say, hey, the cloud unit not impacted. And it's, not a full acquisition in the traditional sense of the world, just an asset deal. And then the market seems to like this quite a bit. I think investors, analysts, traders seem to like this a bit. So I think the wording and the actual deal of what this is, I think is really, really important. Again, this is not the acquisition in the sense I'm going to take your company, I'm going to take all your shares. So I think with that being what it is, I would even compare it more to maybe what Mark Zuckerberg did with Scale, right? They take the CEO, in this case, Jonathan Ross, founder and CEO of of Grok, and you take him, you take him to your company, especially given the fact that Jonathan Ross was also helping with the TPUs over at Google. I think this is a really strategic acquisition on the part of NVIDIA, much like what we saw with Mark Zuckerberg and Alexander Wang of Scale, right? Like, hey, I want to get that AGI. I'm maybe not the best person to do this on my own, so I'm going to acquire a company, specifically a leader who's going to be able to get me there. And so I think I would really compare what NVIDIA is doing with Jonathan Ross and Grok to what Zuckerberg has done with Scale and Alexander Wang. Now, we'll have to wait and see how these investments pay off for either of these leaders, but I actually think it's a really good look for Jensen Huang. Hopefully we see it pay off sooner rather than later.
That. Yeah, I happen to really like this deal as well. I like it because it kind of validates what we've been talking about, which is that other companies, specifically the hyperscalers, are choosing to kind of circumvent NVIDIA's very expensive, very high margin GPUs for a more efficient and a more price conscious way, right? With these TPUs, with Trainium, and with custom ASICs, right? And what I do love about this deal is that Jensen acknowledges that, and he's bringing that in-house. So it's not like he's blind to the technological shift where, everybody was just using these sort of multi-tools, as I like to call them, NVIDIA's GPUs, and they're really now getting more into the custom side of things, which run better, quite frankly, on the specific software that you're making, because NVIDIA's GPUs are just created for everything. So if you have this, or you have that, or you have an inference load, or you have a training load, a pre-training load, NVIDIA's GPUs, they can do it all. So it's great for that early AI phase. But as we get more nuanced, I think that application-specific integrated circuits is going to be fantastic. Now, I don't want to be quick to draw parallels with the acquisition by what's his name, by Mark Zuckerberg with Alexander Wang's company. Scale AI was an AI labeling company, and Zuckerberg's intentions there were basically to remove a key not sourcing unit for others. It's like Meta was using them, Gemini was using them, XAI was all using Alexander Wang's company to be able to label their own sort of things in the LLM. So by Zuck buying them out, he kind of took all their sort of their ability to do that. So all of them had to do it in-house. So I think it was a different strategic purpose why Zuck picked up Wang, so that he could sort of set everybody back 6 months, 8 months, so they would all have to develop it in-house. This is a parallel technology that NVIDIA is picking up that everybody has access to at the moment. We see Trainium with Amazon. We see Marvell tying up the knot with Amazon as well. We see Google tying the knot with certain other companies for TPU. So this is a technology that exists in parallel. It wasn't dominated by one company in the same way that Scale had all the AI labeling technology there. So I feel it's a little bit different, but a good acquisition nonetheless. Let's go on and talk about Waymo pausing robo-taxi service again amid storm warnings. Alphabet's Waymo paused its robo-taxi service in San Francisco and the Bay Area following a National Weather Service flash flood warning. Customers received in-app notifications citing safety concerns tied directly to the expected storms. The flood watch extended all across the Bay Area through Friday, 10 p.m. local time. But the pause is not really the focus here. The pause is the fact that they're pausing again after another sort of event. The first one being on the 20th of December when San Francisco found itself in a blackout. Lots of Waymo vehicles started panicking. They started putting their hazard lights on, and they just kind of stayed still at intersections, which caused all sorts of disruptions traffic-wise. They said earlier this week that they did update their fleet to better handle those infrastructure failures. But here they are again, Joey, pausing it, which is highlighting the operational fragility of AVs during extreme conditions.
Well, the way I'm looking at this is it's environmental, essentially. Once you run into the software update or like the software shutdowns and everything like that, I think that's when there's a big time issue. I don't think this is too bad whatsoever. We're still in the early stages of this stuff, guys, so you're gonna have those road bumps throughout this journey and throughout this process. So I'm not too worried about it whatsoever. I like that they're still expanding. They're growing in, they're in bigger cities now. They're coming to Toronto, so they're still expanding. I like that. Same thing with Tesla, still early stages. You still don't even have mass adoption of essentially driverless vehicles. So early stages, I like it a lot. Not too worried about environmental things, even though they will be an issue down the road, right? Especially coming north of the border and in scenarios like today in Toronto.
Yeah.
What happens? Like what? So you just shut down all of your vehicles, you shut down your whole fleet essentially.
Yeah.
It's going to cost you some money at the end of the day, but this is expected essentially.
Yeah. No, all I was highlighting, just the different technologies. Like a lot of people say, LiDAR has got to be the gold standard because it can always see what's around it. It doesn't, if there's snow or there's salt on the camera is obstructed, and we know that Tesla relies entirely on the camera and the neural network and machine learning and all that good stuff. All right, let's go on to the next story. Apple seeks reversal or new trial in the Massimo patent case. So Apple is seeking a judgment reversing the decision or issuing a new trial in its ongoing patent dispute with Massimo. In case you're wondering what this whole thing, it's around the oxygen, the blood oxygen monitor in the Apple Watch. The motion filed by Apple argues that the jury instructions were erroneous, as well as the evidence upon which the jury relied had a bias that materially affected the outcome of the case. They contend that the $634 million damages that was issued by the trial judge was erroneous because the judge erred in how he charged the jury, as well as the evidence which he allowed the jury to reach its verdict on. So that's what's being asserted. We're not saying that that's right. The $634 million award represents a meaningful but non-material balance sheet risk for Apple. Of course, a $4 trillion company, maybe $634 million doesn't move the needle, but I would say all little bit counts, especially because it starts setting the trend in the wrong direction. Wells Fargo does expect Apple to challenge the verdict, which is consistent with what it's done in the past, but they reiterated, Wells Fargo that is, they reiterated their overweight rating on Massimo with a $190 price target. So I'm not saying that they said this, but one must infer that if they maintain the overweight rating, they feel that Massimo has a good chance here on appeal of upholding the verdict, Joey. So Apple up about 0.25% on the day. There's not much else that's up in Mag 7 world. Up 0.5% is Amazon, but leading the way certainly NVIDIA up 1 1/3.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this deal as well too hindered a little bit. So we'll head over to the daily. We were just off of those all-time highs of around 288. You get somewhat of a pullback around 5.34%. But look at this steady grind. At one point, Apple was lagging the Nasdaq drastically. And I said, watch out for a couple names to play catch up. One of those names was Apple. And now it's only about 5% off of that all-time high. I think this name is just going to be completely fine considering, in my opinion, you have iPhone sales in China. The 17 was exactly what Apple needed it to be, considering we were looking for that in the 16. But Apple is going to be just fine. The ecosystem continuously growing, and obviously they're going to be collecting the paycheck, that big paycheck, $20 billion from Google year over year.
Yeah, they're going to be paying Google too now. Don't forget.
Yeah, they're
Remember,
going to be
using
Google.
Gemini.
Yeah, they're going to be using Gemini. So maybe they get a discount on that, but the service revenue you might see a slight decline.
You might see a slight decline, yeah.
think
And
so.
you're going to see a decline because of the App Store. Remember Brazil,
the
now,
Brazilian,
Europe,
yeah.
the other jurisdictions, they got to open up the App Store. So at least from the App Store revenue side of the services, headline number is going to be a little bit lower. Let's continue the talk here with Apple before we go on to precious metals. We want to talk about the shipments of foreign branded smartphones to China. Of course, that includes Apple and Samsung. That segment of foreign cell phones in China surged 128.5% year over year in November, according to Reuters. The data adds positive read-through for, of course, Apple's China iPhone cycle, which was a key concern for investors last year and this year, as it had been bleeding market share in China, like literally month over month. Overall, smartphone shipments in China rose only 1.9% in November. And when you juxtapose that to the 124% headline number for foreign branded phones, it kind of gives you an idea that maybe foreign branded phones are back in vogue and they're starting to eat a little bit away from the Huaweis and the Xiaomis, which had been doing quite well lately, to be fair. And Joey comments about that all the time, about what he's seen with Marquez Brownlee, and I got to agree with that. So about 30.16 million units of overall smartphone shipments sales in China, with foreign branded phones being about 6.93 million units of that. In October, foreign branded shipments were about 7 million, up 13% year over year, highlighting how dramatic the November jump was. Obviously, China's smartphone market remains highly competitive, and we've seen the Chinese government also issue kind of subsidies for the lower end smartphones, which the Apple i17, the Apple iPhone 17, the basic one, not the Pro, qualifies for that subsidy, which helps move the needle, obviously. But you also got subsidies for Xiaomi, Huawei, Oppo, Honor. There's a bunch of them there going, Joey.
So my question to you, Sharif, is we know what the Xiaomi phone looks like. We know what these guys are capable of. Everything looks good, right? Everything looks good, whether it be on a tablet, you have the foldable tablet, you can turn it into a laptop, whatever it may be. But you're starting to see these foreign phones start to come in. So what does that lead me to? What is actually under the hood? So are these products as good as they may look? Or is what's under the hood in Apple actually better, hence why you're starting to see an uptick in some of in the shipments?
Well, yeah, I see your question, but like think about this. One's an Android device and the other one's an Apple. One has custom silicon in the A processor, and the other one, I think they're using Snapdragon. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Qualcomm Snapdragon on some of the Chinese ones. So I see your point. But it's just like they're two different ecosystems. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, the Android people stay loyal to Android. The Apple people
stay loyal.
There's jump overs. I know you were Android for a little bit, right? You got into Apple about 3 years ago. I want to say, give or take, right? Yeah, Katina Man, he's nodding. Yeah, Katina Man wasn't always. Brendo as well. Brendo's a year deep, right? He was Google. What's that Google's handset called?
I have no idea.
The Pixel, thank you, Katina Man. The Google Pixel. He'd been multiple generations of the Pixel, and then he switched. But that doesn't mean that he's completely happy. There's still stuff that he laments not having, right? I mean, that's just going to be the case with all of them. We'll see how this all ends up going. Let's talk about precious metals, man, because these things just can't keep going, can't stop going up. And we know that commodities tend to trend for longer periods of time than equities, but when they turn, they turn. Gold, silver, and platinum all hit record highs overnight, driven by momentum, of course, and continued momentum, I should say, as well as thin year-end liquidity, so not too much standing in their way, and expectations of more rate cuts next year. How many? We'll have to wait and see. Spot gold, at least at the time of the writing of this article, was up 0.6 to a record high of 45.30. Where's it at right now? GC. It's at 45.52. This thing can't stop going up, man. 45.84 all-time highs. We're off those highs, but that's a continuous contract, so you can update that number right there. $4,584 on the dot. This thing is a rocket. With February futures that also gained, spot silver did a lot better, up 3.6 again at the time of the writing of this article. The high was 74. sorry, 75.14. That was the high. It's probably higher now. But the markets here, they're pricing in at least 2 rate cuts next year, which is boosting demand for these non-yielding assets. I really hope Bitcoin can jump in these non-yielding asset trend here. A weaker US dollar also being credited for some of the strength here in these precious metals, as well as I mentioned, thin holiday liquidity, which amplifies the upside move. Geopolitical tensions, though, cannot be understated here. Tensions add to the safe haven trade, which is precious metals, including U.S. actions targeting Venezuelan oil. Overnight, President Trump attacking what he says are ISIS outposts or camps in Nigeria. He alleges that they're killing Christians. I'm not saying he's wrong. I'm just saying that's what he's saying. These risks, they reinforce gold and silver's role as hedges against instability. And gold is on track, Joey, for the largest annual gain since 1979, supported by Fed easing, central bank buying, ETF inflows, and most notably, de-dollarization. We've seen a lot of these European countries and Asian countries stop buying the US dollar as, you know, this reserve currency that they just hoard, and they're buying gold instead now. Multiple reasons for that, of course. One was that dollar was weaponized against the Russians with sanctions, and other countries see that and they don't want any of that smoke. So instead they just buy gold. Silver, 158% year-to-date, outpacing substantially gold's around 72% gain. But analysts see more upside, Joey. Ooh, they're saying, look,
more upside.
In the first half of 2026, they see gold clearing 5,000, and they think silver will approach, if not hit, 90.
All right, man, that's some good stuff. I like that for sure. I want to buy some of this stuff sitting on some cash, but I just find it really hard buying it all the way up here. But this run, apparently, according to analysts, says that it can be continued. So I'm going to wait for some form of a pullback. I thought there was going to be multiple occasions with gold and silver getting a pullback, but it just continuously ran up. I don't know if anybody's shorting this stuff. I don't think that's a good idea. You don't want to stand in front of that type of freight train. So these names are extremely, extremely hot, and I like that. There goes Netflix, now into 94.36. So a liquidity grab, it bounced off of the volume weighted average price. We didn't take that second opportunity right there at 94s, but what we did hop in, thanks to my good friend Gorev. Gorev
yes,
is
sir.
my Bovin, essentially.
I love it.
Yeah, this guy gave me a good call out. So there's ABOG, Broadcom right there. Shreve talking about buying it earlier today. A nice little move from 358.74s, and then we get a little bit more than $1 on that trade. So it only takes one trade, guys. We are patient. Second trade of the day, and that's what we got going on. I didn't have nearly as many shares as I did on that Netflix trade, but that's all right. It almost eliminated that loss as we're currently trading, or we're currently standing at from an unrealized standpoint. Now, as for gold, look at the technicals on this bad boy, man. This is parabolic. Do you think, like, Shreve, do you think that we could see an aggressive pullback in this? Because, I mean, from that previous peak high, you get 10%, and then it was off to the races once again, and then you get a new high. Do you ever see gold coming back down 25% or anything like that?
Yeah.
So?
I mean, like, commodities just by nature, they trend so aggressively, and when they trend down, they trend down. Just take a look at Nat Gas and what Nat Gas did for, like, 3 years. And that's what John J. Murphy, like, that's like one of the main things that he says in his book about, he's like, keep an eye on commodity trends. They seem to last a lot more than equities in terms of
well, I mean, this has been the case. Like, look at this move that we've been going on here for quite some time. I mean, it brings you right into...
unbelievable.
23.
But look at what it did for a decade and a half.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
right?
so that's what I mean to say.
The longer the consolidation, the bigger the breakout, but also you did a lot of nothing for quite some time.
You did it for a decade because interest rates were super low for a decade. I don't think we see that again. Shout out to Outlaw Trader. He's still riding GSIT. That just got in $8. Beautiful move on that one. Beautiful move on PAVS. I see all you guys calling those out. Good on you. Let's talk about Nebius, because this is one of those neo-cloud names like CoreWeave and the like that we've been talking more about. Again, neo-cloud, you can just kind of categorize those as cloud providers for AI workloads, and then your regular clouds like your AWS, which also has AI, but you can classify those as your kind of your regular cloud. All right, so as AI spending shifts from model development to large-scale deployment, demand is accelerating for cloud capacity, specifically neo-cloud capacity. capacity. As high-performance compute and AI-ready data centers become higher in demand and in vogue, the transition, writes Danny Ives here, favors infrastructure providers rather than only mega cap AI model leaders. Smaller specialized players as well with scalable capacity are increasingly in focus for M&A and longer term exposure. So he says that Nebius has emerged as a standout beneficiary for this AI build out. Danny Ives is what I mentioned here. He named Nebius his top AI infrastructure pick for 2026, and he cites the strategic positioning of the company. He believes that they are a prime acquisition candidate for hyperscalers. I love his enthusiasm, but I worry about, anti-competitive behavior unless they kind of do what NVIDIA did today and kind of take the asset purchase route to kind of circumvent regulatory scrutiny. But even with asset purchases, you are still subject to the regulator. It just makes things a little bit easier. It's based in Amsterdam. By the way, this company was named by Jameson Greer as a possible target for retaliatory measures by the U.S. regulator on European companies. I gave you guys that list, I think, on Wednesday. They're based in Amsterdam, and they provide a full stack AI cloud and GPU accelerator infrastructure. They're in Europe and North America. The company rents AI optimized compute clusters, including liquid cooling, likely from SMCI, and high power GPUs, which targets hyperscalers and large enterprises. Joey, so what do you think about Nebius over here?
Interesting. Guys, I just took a little bit more out here on AVGO. I have one out left, so I'm going to hold on to this there. Nebius, yeah, Sharif, honestly,
yes, sir.
I mean, Dan Ives is going to remain optimistic, I think, in the tech game. He's been a bull. He's a perma bull. He's going to remain that way. I think you just have to be extremely cautious, right? We know what happened with Tom Lee and these guys pumping Ethereum and stuff like that. So I'm going to take it with a grain of salt, essentially, at that point. So I'm going to be sitting in this AVGO. This is going to be my last trade of the day, guys. One more out. Let's see if we can head into 352 40s. I mean, that's it for me, really, to be honest.
All right,
so,
I'll do the technicals on this one. So let's look at the daily chart here on NBIS. Let's get an idea of what we've been doing lately and what to expect. So certainly we've been in a state of lower highs ever since we put in that, I believe, all-time high back in early mid-October. It looks like October 10th, the high of which, it was an intraday high, by the way, which ended up closing red. It was a high of 141.10. And then it ended up closing at 126. So that was kind of the reversal there. Since that time, we've been putting in lower highs with really no break in that lower highs. Area high, another area high, and yet another area high here at 95 that's rejecting. That's the bad side. What's the good side? It looks like we're finding key areas of support. Whether or not it's just the 200 moving average that we're finding support at 75 or the $75 shelf that we had as resistance, I want to say, from the 7th of August until the big breakout on earnings into the 8th of September. So we used $75 as almost a shelf, a resistance level shelf for about a month, and now we find it as support. What I would say is, yeah, you're getting some higher lows, but you're also putting in lower highs. The confirmation for me would be the break of the lower highs, and that would be a closing print above that 105. I'd like to see something above that 105. I want to say from 100 to 105. That changes the narrative for me. But anyway, NBIS down 3% today. So, yeah, not a great day to mention this, but, we're not all just looking for one day of trading. Let's talk about Micron, Samsung, and the AI memory race heating up. This is not really a Micron specific article. It's a read-through here that because Samsung is preparing its own in-house GPU, it's yet another entrant into the GPU game, which means that there's going to be more demand for high bandwidth memory because you got to put HBMs with these GPUs to create the system clusters. So Samsung is preparing to debut its first ever in-house mobile GPU, which is a major strategic shift for the company, and it reduces reliance, of course, on third-party chip designers, your Marvells, your Broadcoms, and others. The GPU will debut inside the Xenos 2600 processor, which is expected to power the next Galaxy S26. That's a vertical integration push as they look to bring that in-house. Samsung designed the GPU itself and the underlying architecture, but that does remain licensed from AMD, signaling, you know, a gradual but not an abrupt break from external IP. So what do you think of, you know, SanDisk, Micron, some of these memory names, Joey? A couple of the other ones, they don't trade on North American markets, like Samsung and SK Hynix, of course.
What's it?
SNDK.
Yeah, SNDK. I had that there. I mean, this thing was in squeezing for quite some time, right? So SanDisk went on a nice little run here and still currently on it, so you're not too far off of these highs. So the high bandwidth memory definitely in play right now. So you go from $44 all the way up to 251 to where we're currently trading at in 130 trading days. So from August 21st, 25, so the middle of the summer essentially, to where we're currently trading at. This is definitely one of the better returns. This is a massive move, and I'm surprised I haven't even looked at it. 479%, we like this. You head over to Micron, same thing, right? New all-time high today, coming in off of those highs. So, I mean, if the market is telling you it's in play, it's in play. Don't go against the grain. There's AVGO. We got all out of that position right now. I'm looking at a potential short here on the TQs in the Nasdaq as we're starting to come in off of the volume weighted average price. There was an indecision print, 5 minute. Now that's off to the races. Watch out for the lower end of the range. I thought the neckline was going to be broken right here at 623.80. Now we're starting to come in right here. Indecision print. You can't break VWAP. Now coming back to the lower end of the range.
All right, Adira, what do you make of this latest tie-up with Samsung bringing in-house GPUs?
What I want to talk more about here is just like this strength in general. As you mentioned, Sharif, it's the story more for these memory plays in general. And I think with that in mind, it's worth kind of talking about how strong they have been. Now, I was just looking here. The top 4 S&P 500 components are set to be the top S&P 500 components heading into the end of the year. It's going to be, in no particular order, Micron, SanDisk, STX, so Seagate, and Western Digital WDC. So top 4, Robinhood's number 5, so not related, but the top 4 here are kind of in that memory space, right? So I think, especially near the second half of the year, there has been a really big push with regards to these memory type plays. I think, of course, as Joe mentioned, SanDisk may be the most obvious with that squeeze type action we had leading into its addition into the S&P 500. But unlike SMCI, which had kind of a similar rise into the S&P 500 last year, it has not fallen at all in the same way. And there's still that interest. I think the fact that there's interest in that space as well is probably going to keep SanDisk and a lot of these names hot. So yeah, I think, Sharif, this catalyst is a nice, if anything, I'd say it's kind of reaffirms what we already knew, that these plays are absolutely going to be nice going into the next year. I know Sean was saying earlier today, what are some picks that we consider for next year? I think this, much like these space plays, I think these memory plays are probably going to stay exciting at the very least as we head into 2026. And they're set to end 2025 on a notable high.
Let's take a look at, you know, how some of these microchip semiconductor names have performed year to date. And it's not even close. It isn't even close. Micron is a rocket ship. It's up 240%, and it's not even at the highs. Let's go to the daily here. This is year to date. So it made all-time highs this morning, okay? My bad. It made 294.60. Those are all-time highs from the morning, but it's red on the day. But as you can see, it opened up high, and it's closing. If it was to close now, it's a little bit lower, but it's still higher highs and higher lows on the candle. Whether or not it's red, it's still a higher high and a higher low. And it's ridiculous. It's 240%. It's really only outdone by a company much smaller than it, okay? So just to give you an idea, Micron's market cap, $320 billion as it closes in on that third of a trillion, excuse me. Light, L-I-T-E. This is Lumentum Holdings, excuse me. Much smaller company, about 27 2/3 billion. Market cap, up 363% on the year. What does this company do? They manufacture optical and photonic products, much like that company that Marvell just picked up, I think, about a month or 3 weeks ago. Very integral to the AI microchip semiconductor trade. So there's not much that look better than Micron. Then you've got to look at Lam Research, another big name, LRCX, up 150% year to date. These are fantastic numbers, guys. I mean, when you compare it to AMD, AMD's up 78%, very respectable. Likewise with Intel, 80%. You got ASML up here, about 51%. What else we got? TSM, 55%. But there are some red names, Joey. It's not all sunshine and rainbows. You got ARM, ARM's been getting crapped on lately. It's down 10% year to date. Same thing with Texas Instruments, down 3%. Marvell, even though Marvell's had a fantastic recovery off the lows, Marvell's still down 21 2/3% year to date. So I don't want to say it's like a winners and losers because the majority of them are green on the year, but there are some outlying names.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I agree with you on that. It goes with everything. You're going to have some leaders, you're going to have some laggards, winners and losers across the board. So, yeah, that's a pretty good look. I like Lamb Research there as well, too, Sharif.
Yes, sir.
It's LCRX, right?
LCRX, yes,
Yeah,
sir.
yeah. I remember I was looking at this name. Okay, I can't pull that up here.
LRCX, excuse me. Sorry, my bad.
LRCX, yeah. I know you're just looking at it, but I want to take a look at it.
Yeah, have a look. I didn't really look too much.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what do you want?
Yeah, I know.
It's up 150 zillion% year to date. It's going to look like that.
We use our gauge of April, right, to where we're currently, where were we all the way up here, 200%.
Hold on, how do we get up there, Joey?
100. Okay, maybe I was a little bit higher. Yeah. So April there from our lows.
What are we at?
208%.
That's ridiculous.
I mean, that's. I mean, you can't really go wrong.
No.
Micron as well too. We mentioned that it was just off the highs. So TXN, I actually bought some TXN a while ago and I sold it. It was in the middle of the summer, somewhere around this neck of the woods. I thought we were going to get a bounce, considering you have that point where you had 221 bucks, you were down 30%.
Right.
And I'm like, hey, man, maybe we can get a bounce at some point. No, I just never got it. It continued to bleed a little bit more. Even though off of this key pivot level, you got a nice 16% bounce, TXN has not been the cleanest of price action, and we very rarely trade it from an intraday standpoint as well, too. Very, very rarely. I don't think I've ever seen anybody here on the floor since I've been here trading TXN. So our liquidity issues, obviously, as you're running into the 5-minute time frame. So once you head a little bit lower, you're going to be running into even more. So that's just something like own it, don't trade it, kind of like NVDA, aside from the liquidity standpoint. TXN, but they're increasing their investments here.
TXN?
Yeah, in the States. I think they doubled it or something along those lines. Because it was Bessent who made them invest more, wasn't it?
If you're not going to invest right now,
then you can go
President
somewhere.
Trump is not going to like that.
You're not going to like it.
Yeah, he's not
or
gonna
if you're going to file a lawsuit against the government trying to get your tariff money back. Look at the difference between Costco and Walmart.
Oh, you went there, eh?
Yeah, what do you mean?
Of course you went there, bro. That's reality.
That's the reality of it, right? The street does not like that, and you can see that reflected. Let's pull up Costco.
But Costco's taking a stand. To be fair to them, I think they're look, you may disagree because it's causing this here. It's causing this problem.
Yeah.
But they look at themselves, I think personally, and I have obviously never spoken to anybody at Costco, they put Gina Raimondo on their board and sued President Trump for their money back at the same time. They're making a statement.
They're making a statement. That's fine, but
they're going to take on the administration. Now, all the power to you, but you're going to have to deal with what comes.
Exactly. Well, we've seen what happens when you take on the administration with Tesla.
Oh, yeah, that was fun.
Who wins?
That was fun.
Who wins at
that was a 100% drop. What was it, a 50% drop?
Who wins at the end of the day? So you can take them on all you would want.
Yeah.
But it's going to be reflected in the stock price, and shareholders aren't going to like that.
Yeah, well, exactly it, right? All right, guys, let's have a look at what is moving during this midday. It is really, Ram, the GSIT show over here. This has been unabated to the quarterback, 825 high. Look at this. It's just putting in umpteen amount of higher highs and higher lows. You can count probably on one hand the red candles here on the 5-minute chart the last couple hours, because there really haven't been all that many. So I would say look for an $8 drop, maybe a testing of this trend line over here from which we broke. So the trend line had been essentially respected all day, both the lower and upper trend line. So let's see if that upper trend line, which was a former area of resistance, now starts acting as support if it comes back into that $8 area, which it is quite quickly. It could be a deeper retracement, possibly maybe into 7 3/4. If it really gets down, it's going to 750 where the volume weighted average price is. So GSIT looking awfully good, awfully strong. Let's see if it can hold $8. And if it doesn't, where it does end up finding support. Let's have a look at some others as well. Let's see what else is moving. PAVS, This wasn't a bamboozler in this way when we were trading it earlier. It loses VWAP, it reclaims it at 105, it rockets up, it makes a new high a day, and then as quickly as it makes that 253 high, it drops all the way back down to $0.25. Now it's barely above the $0.25 and finding resistance at the third of a dollar. So still up 45 and change, but maybe past its prime, I don't know. ASPC was the other rocket ship as well, but this one can't stop halting to the downside. So it had multiple halts to the upside with a $56 high. It is now down halted again at $32.41, and it looks like it will be a 10-minute halt, if not more. But here's the deal. Everything looks bad right now on ASPC with multiple down halts. You're about $24 off the high. But the deal is you're at the volume weighted average price. In fact, you're just at the volume weighted average price, which is I think about 20 pennies lower than the halt price right now. Still up 141%, but that is a Christmas tree retracement down to VWAP if I've seen one. With the green on one side and the red on the other. So keep your eye out on this one. And then TI has given up the ghost. It had a good little move there, and then right down it goes below the volume weighted average price. MDLN, the IPO that we had I think a week or so ago, trading right at VWAP as well. A bit more expensive of a name, so if you're going to size in here, I really wouldn't suggest that because you just keep putting in lower highs. So I don't know if this is going to be the trade for anybody. But PAVS just reawoke. I was talking smack about it. It took out that 30 seller. Now it has a 40 seller. But the key thing about this one is 3 higher lows in a row. And in fact, not just higher lows, but higher highs. So holding above VWAP, getting a nice little U shape kind of off the VWAP area and looking to take out that 2.5 again. It's up 45, 46%. So PAVS, I don't think it's had its last say over here, Joey. We're going to keep an eye out on that, and we're going to keep an eye on GSIT.
Nice. Yeah, so I'm just talking with Outlawed Trader.
I like him. He trades small caps.
Yeah, you like Outlawed? Yeah, I mean, he's just telling me, he's like, hey, man, been finding some success as of late. When do I take the leap to full-time trading? I've been working part-time, trading part-time as well. I think you just keep with that, man. Keep doing what you're doing right now. If it's not broken, don't fix it. And it seems like you're doing pretty good. So keep that steady paycheck because the market doesn't go up all the time. I talk about potential pullbacks coming, and obviously you have to be nimble and trade your systems. You have your edge erosion as well too, which is a major factor. So keep doing what you're doing, brother. Keep working, keep trading, and then sure enough, eventually your account will be big enough to the point where you don't need that. Until then, just stay what you're doing. You're doing just fine. All right. So Stan Hose, What's Robinhood been up to today? A nice little trade on AVGO. I've seen the inverted hammer candle printed across the board on a couple of names. So AVGO did have that right above VWAP. So that's when it was my green light to get out. Boom, nice move off of VWAP. And then sure enough, this is going to be intact with its downtrend. It was above that, but I want no part of this whatsoever. Sure enough, nice move now coming back into VWAP. So that was a nice trade. Thank you, Gore, for pointing that out. My better one of the day. I mean, I literally, Sharif, literally had 10 times the amount of shares on Netflix and took a 10-cent loss. And it's slightly positive on this AVO trade. Literally 10 times. I kid you not. I literally had 10 times the amount of shares on Netflix than what I had on AVGO, and I came out with slightly more money than what I did take at a loss on NFLX, all right? So let's head over to NFLX and see what we got going on. It bounced. It went right up into our levels. 94.40 is that target that we were looking for. We were risking 10 cents. We get 20 cents on the way up, but unfortunately we weren't in the position at that point. So with that being said, what else are we going to find? Obi, our good friend Obi, where is the next trade? Is that Palantir? Maybe. I think so. I like what we got going on Palantir right now. You can see we have that indecision print on the 5-minute. You get that pullback, and then now you're starting to formulate a little bit more. If we break this low, I'm out. So what is that, another 10 cents worth of risk? When I have 10 cents worth of risk, Sharif, I really like this stuff. So I'm going to hop in some Palantir, the exact same size in which I was in on NFLX. Now, if I had the same amount of size as I did on AVGO, it'd be a pretty good day. But that's not the case. We're going to post up at 75s. Let's see if we can catch this fill here.
All right. Sounds good, Joey.
Oh, it's breaking down.
Break it down. You remember that one, Katia, man. DX, man. Ram. How can you hate on DX? Oh.
I think Ram's just butt mashing right now. She's not, because she hit the dong a couple times. I'm like, I don't know if that necessarily went for what we were going with. But that's
Right?
Brother, Who's doing that?
Ram, bro. Of course.
What is that?
You don't.
What's that, brother?
You don't know that, huh?
No, what is it,
Okay, it's a sound that everybody used, but it ended up being
Here.
in I would say on social media, TikTok. I think it was like a preacher or an imam who was like he was seeing something he didn't like, so he's like, brother,
really?
and someone just took the sound and
Yeah,
they went with it.
this is kind of off topic. I don't know what made me think of this, but have you ever been to like a mega church or anything like that?
Well, the church I go to is a cathedral. It's not a mega church, but it's a big
You see that one, I think.
Where the Christmas one where the people were flying?
Bro, what is going on?
What's happening there?
What is
that was
going
crazy.
on?
No, I did see that though.
And then that
it looked interesting, man. It was like a Christmas. It was like a Christmas show, right?
Yeah. And then
I saw that.
that one African guy's like, yeah, he brings his Bentley in the church and stuff. He's like, yeah, you need to see the Bentley. I'm like, what is?
I don't know all that. Yeah,
What's going on here?
Reserved comment on that, but in any event, it was funny. No, but I did see that. They were flying from the air.
Yeah,
It's like,
I'm like,
yo, what kind of stadium you guys have?
What is this, like Coco Bongo?
It felt like it was like, what's that called? A Cirque du Soleil.
Yeah, I was just saying Coco Bongo.
Yeah, Coco Bongo. Cancun, those are good times, bro. Is that club still open in Cancun?
In
Coco Bongo?
Cancun, yeah, in Cancun. But the one in Cabo, I think, shut down.
Oh,
You were just there.
I didn't
no?
go.
Yeah, I know.
Bro,
But I thought well, that's why I
bro.
brought it up, because you were there.
I know there's a Coco Bongo also in Playa. There's Playa del Carmen.
Yeah, there's one
There's a
there.
couple,
I think the best one is in Dominican.
Dominican.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about going somewhere else, bro. Because I took the week off, the 5th to the.
What are your options, man?
I don't know, man. I'm thinking about something. Like I was hoping for some suggestions.
Have you ever been to Costa Rica?
I haven't actually.
Go there, my boy.
Is it good?
Yeah, I heard it's great.
My cousin went there for an EDM concert one time with his girlfriend. He loved it.
Yeah. I heard nothing but good things about that place.
All right. Go. All right, guys. We're in GSIT here at 14s. We just wet the beak at the $0.25. We're looking for continuation in the 33. Let's see what this one has to offer. GSIT looks good. It is, Casey. It is worth watching. It's the one that's trading at the highs. It's the one that just broke out from the higher trend line, the top end trend line, because I felt it was trading within a bit of a range. There goes 28s. Now we're setting up at 33s. It's not up the most. I mean, it's 36, 37% on the day, but the chart pattern just does look like it is the best of the bunch. We'll see if we can get that 33 print, and then we'll wait in the low 40s as well. So GSIT, not a bad looker, but yeah, not big on the day. How we doing over here on PAVS? PAVS was another one that we want to keep an eye out on. Do I have that over here? I do. So this one's the topping tail king over here. Every time it makes an area high, all hell breaks loose to the downside. We saw that earlier when it printed the intraday high at 11:15. We saw it again at 105. When it does make that intraday high, it does have a tendency to sell off aggressively. So be alive to that. Now, that's the bad side of the equation. The good side, Joey, is for the last 4 or 5 candles, maybe a bit more, we've been holding the 10 EMA on the 5, and here comes that test. We are now at the 10 EMA again. Let's see if this one wants to hold up here. We'll get in, and we'll give this to right below 20 so that we're not risking all that much. We'll see what this one has to offer. If it wants to pop off and take us into the 30s, we'll get involved. Otherwise, we'll just get stopped out. Zion Lala, dude, ASPC dropping like it's hot. It is, dude, and I did see it halted. I did speak about it, and when it was halted, it ended up being a 15 or a 10-minute, and it was a 10-minute halt. It was halted above VWAP, so I was like, this one maybe's got one lifeline left, seeing that it is above the volume-weighted average price, but it opens up and continues to trend lower than the volume-weighted average price, and now it's giving up the whole dollar at 30. Prior bar low, 26.07. Current bar low, 28.29. If I see another low here, it loses its spot on the side chart quick as you like. Square foot as well is regaining strength over here. SQFT, we're lovingly calling this square foot. it doesn't really respect these indicators on my chart at all, so I'm reluctant to use any of them here. The 10 EMA, VWAP, the 20, they all look like lines of best fit. So why even use them if they're coming out that way? It does have support though at 3.5. That you can make an observation on whether the moving averages or VWAP is there or not. You can see umpteen amount of bottoming tail candles into 3.5. That means buyers were picking this up aggressively at the $0.50. You like to see that, especially at around a psychological area of support. Current bar high, 395. Let's look for a move above 4. And then if we get above 4, we're looking for that official high of the day, which is 4.25. But I want to bring your attention to what we did at 8:45 to 9. That's why I wasn't involved in this one. This has a pre-market high of 437. That still hasn't been breached. The official high of the day is 425, so that fails one of the rules there, that it's trading below the pre-market high, Joey. So we're going to keep an eye on those two, but for the moment, nothing new. Go with the vibes, baby. Says Ozan, slap it. I don't know if I'm going to do that, Ozan, but I see what you're saying there. Tom says DTCK is popping up. Davis Commodities. Yeah, I see that's a 40-penny name. Not much in the way of action on this one. Let's look at it for Tom, DTCK, Davis Commodities, 9.62 million market cap. 5-minute chart trading below VWAP, 42.5 pennies, got to get above that. Still suffering from lower highs, area high, yet another area high that's unable to breach its predecessor high. So until that trend breaks, I think sellers are still in control, Joey.
All right, good look there. I'm looking at some of their names. Palantir, I'm glad that we didn't get involved with that one. It just really broke down. There was a nice indecision print. We're trying to catch the bottom on it, and it looks like that 5-minute hammer candle is going to get blown past here. So keep an eye out on this. I was on the lower time frames. Nothing from a price action standpoint telling me to get involved in this name just yet. So I'm going to be patient with Palantir. We have Netflix forming another 5-minute hammer candle. It climbed higher, but then we didn't really get to participate on that other move higher. It just absorbed a little bit of liquidity. And then also not enough buying pressure right here. We can take one more stab on the flakes. I'm going to post up at a price. I mean, it might not get filled. Okay, 15s, I don't mind. I don't mind 15s. We'll take that. Let's take one more stab. Same narrative, guys. 05, break of volume weighted average price. We're at a dodge. That's going to put us right near the lower end of this wick. I think at some point, if we fill the majority of that wick to the downside, then we're going to be wrong on the thesis anyways. So there it is on NFLX. We're going to take this stab right here. Let's pop back, grab a nice little penny right off the gate. This would be ideal, right? If we can head right into 25s. This is where my out is. We'll mark this off. A nice little move on AVGO earlier in the day, thanks to our guy Gorev. So let's see if this can come into play right here. What has it been doing? Okay, so yeah, we got that inverted hammer candle print, and then sure enough, you come back, bounce right off of VWAP. Now you're going to retest this trend line. Keep an eye out on that. Eyes out on the bed. We're a couple pennies out of the OTM right now. But you can see we're at the ask, clean flush to the downside. All right, step in. Let's see if this is going to work or not. SPY not doing too much either. Nasdaq not doing too much either.
Ozan, listen up, brother, and all new traders, of course. We are waiving the first month. Yes, it is absolutely free. We're waiving the fees so you can trade smarter, not harder, by upgrading to that elite experience where you'll analyze, you'll strategize, and then hopefully after that, you'll capitalize on their platform that has everything, guys. We're talking about infinite data and instant trading. It's got lightning fast market insights and game-changing charts. And that prediction tool, we're talking about backtesting. Yes, they've got it, and you can predict better with their backtesting tool. You get reliable, real-time data and global markets at the tips of your fingers. It is literally an all-in-one platform, as the kids say. Do not miss out. Execute your best trades now. If you're ready to elevate your trading, you need to scan that QR code and check the link in the description. You know where that's from?
No.
Joey Swoles.
Is that what he says?
Yeah, you need to do better.
Is that what he does? Yeah.
All his gym videos where he's like calling people up. I figured, Joey.
I know. I like Joey. Oh, did I tell you?
Swoles,
man,
bro.
I think I was like 24 at the time, and I Snapchatted him, and he replied back to me, and I was having like a conversation. Yeah.
I like
was
him.
like shoulders on swole, and he
Shoulders on swole.
Yeah, because I hit a gym workout, and that's when I used to follow him a little bit more on Snapchat. I was like 24, 25 at the time or something.
Yeah, he's been around for a minute.
He's been around for a long,
I remember
long
him.
time.
He didn't always have that like positive gym mentality kind of theme.
He said
that
he
he's doing
struggled
now.
with like addiction and stuff like that.
Yeah, you got to respect him even more then.
Heavy
man.
on the fully loaded sauce, too.
Oh, you could tell. Yeah.
He even he admits it.
He admits it, yeah.
He's not hiding that or anything. So.
All right,
Dude,
here we
big.
go, guys. Shout out. Okay, I told 1320 Wolf I'd look at Caterpillar. So let's have a look at CAT. Look, CAT, you know, it's funny, is you don't really typically associate Caterpillar with an AI trade, but that's what it is, man. It really is an AI trade. Whether they're building out data centers, they're building out the cooling infrastructure required to cool these insanely hot products. But Joey, before you look, I don't want you to look quite yet.
Looking.
From the top to the bottom, tariff tantrum lows.
Yeah.
Tariff tantrum lows, so we're talking early April.
Yep.
To all-time highs.
What name are we talking about here?
CAT.
CAT. Caterpillar.
Caterpillar.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yep.
How much were we off from the lows in April to the highs? I think earlier this month, mid this month. What were we up?
I'm gonna go.
Be reasonable.
I'm gonna be reasonable. I'm gonna go. I think this is a pretty good number for Caterpillar. 37%.
You're gonna have to add a 100 on top of that.
Oh wow! Well, you told me to be modest on that.
I know, but like I thought you were gonna say 300-400 or something. I didn't know, right? Yeah, we're up 138%. So good recovery from Caterpillar there.
I talked about this before, man. Just investing in the actual picks and shovels, essentially, of this AI build out.
Exactly it. Exactly. And that's why I started the conversation or the statement saying you don't typically associate this with an AI play. And it had a lot of headwinds, man.
Yeah.
Dealer inventory was high. They couldn't move this stuff. We're talking about your excavators and stuff like that, the traditional Caterpillar stuff that we know. And they also had a China problem where the Chinese weren't building out as much because their real estate sector still in the dumps. So they weren't putting nearly as much, shovels into the ground, so to speak. And Caterpillar was suffering. And then all of a sudden the AI play comes in and like rescues the company. So this looks good, 1320 Wolf. It's not bad. We got a bit of a pullback. We did bounce off the 50 EMA on the daily, which you like, right? Especially that $50 area. The problem is though, we're bouncing back here into 590. I want to see if we can reclaim 600 quickly. The reason I say that is because we barely spent any time above 600. It was only, I think, 3 trading days that were above that 600. I'm talking about the 10th, the 11th, and the 12th. And then the 12th, we ended up losing 600 quite aggressively. 626 high, we ended up getting closed down there at 599, maybe even a little bit lower. So CAT looks good. I'd say, look for the resistance at 600, but if it continues above 600 and continues to go, then you hold or you add. Add smartly, of course. Now, you could have added at that 50 where it had held support before. It did it in August, early September as well. Were all clear areas of support on the 50 moving exponential moving average on the daily, and you got it again. So I like Caterpillar, but at some point, just like with everything else, there's going to be, the industry is going to look for cost efficiencies, and I don't know if Caterpillar ends up being as strong as it is, right? Like we were already seeing, ASICs come into the play there with replacing some of NVIDIA's GPUs. I don't want to say replacing, but, supplementing the NVIDIA GPU trade. And so I don't know if this continues to go in the way that it does. I don't know. What do you think, man? Do you think we continue to add more data centers at that scale, or are there going to be efficiencies?
No, I don't think at that scale. Will you add more? I think eventually, but not just because I think we're in the thick of the AI build, though, right? You have everybody spending their money, obviously Sam Altman, you have Amazon, you have all the big hyperscalers spending all this cash flow. Yep. And we talked about this before, is that it's not going to remain that CapEx heavy, I don't think, right? You're not going to need, once you have that structure built, the foundation essentially, sure, you'll do your repairs, you build a little bit more, you have the overflow and everything along those lines. But I think the bulk of it and the money being spent is being done right now. But that spending's not. I gotta agree. That type of spending, I don't think is sustainable. Because we've yet to really see, we've really yet to see a massive ROI and the efficiency within these corporations step up. Right? Yeah. I think that's when that starts to translate into the earnings report. You see margins start to increase, et cetera. I think that's when things are going to slowly start to cool down, and that's where you're going to see the ROI.
Fair.
Yeah.
Fair. All right. Yeah, still holding some GSIT here, looking for continuation above the third of a dollar, but now we're kind of putting in this topping signal where we're getting topping till candles and this kind of rounding pattern at the high. So it's an 835 high. We're dropping down into 820. What I'd be looking for is a dip down into 8 and a hold of 8. But we'll have to wait and see what the price action does tell us. The 10 moving average on the 5 is at 810 with psychological support, of course, being at that $8 area. But that upper trend line off which I was basing a lot of my trades also runs a little bit higher than 8, like I want to say 805. So I'm going to look for support in and around that area. MDLN, I got stopped out of PAVS, by the way, as it did lose a VWAP. MDLN looking a little bit better than some of its peers. It's still suffering from lower highs. So if you kind of look at this area high over here into 45.50, even if you don't look at 45.50, just look at 45.30 where the closing prints are south of, you're still putting in lower highs. Now, why I do like it for a possible hold here off the volume weighted average price is the candle setup in the VWAP. You're kind of getting these bottoming tail candles all showing up right around VWAP. That means aggressive buyers or buying is happening aggressively at the volume weighted average price, and it's causing these bottoming tail candles to be lower, higher lows, higher lows. So that's one side of the equation. The other side, of course, is to look for the break of the lower high trend. We get that above 45.15, I want to say 45.20. That changes the narrative. So that's about 20 pennies from where we are. But MDLN really hasn't been too strong on the day. I think it's up just a few percentage points, if that. So it's got a good looking chart pattern, but certainly not the type of aggressive price action support that you would think. All right, GSIT popping up into the 820 area, so we'll wet the beak there at 33. Here it is again now, 2 pennies below the high of the day. I'm waiting at 42s for the next profit taker. Let's see what happens there, Joey.
All right, good stuff, man. I just took a little bit off here. I mean, I'll still hold to the same stop. Yo, I literally knew that was going to happen. Man, oh man, I will not be convinced otherwise after that point. I said, yo, let me take some off and see what happens just in case. I have a feeling if I take some off, there's going to be a pop. And sure enough, just like that, I'm like, let me take the bulk of my position off, and then boom, pops. Man, these guys are, I swear, man, I don't know if I can be convinced otherwise. I think they know what's going on. Sharif, I'm like, hey, I'm holding full-size position. I'm like, I want to take some off to see if I get a pop after. I take off 70% of my position.
It pops.
And it pops, like, immediately after. I don't know, man. I'm not like a conspiracy
theorist. Why are you doing that, Reb?
What's she doing? Why are you zooming in like that, Reb?
I don't know, man, because she's wild.
I don't know, man. That is some weird stuff. I did not make it pop whatsoever. The algos are always watching, says Notorious. They have to be. That is too coincidental. All right, but that's a nice little move. We'll take it. Bang. Look, I haven't hit. I don't know if we hit this today. We definitely haven't hit this today.
He always has the middle fingers the other way.
Yeah. We like Stone Cold Steve Austin around these neck of the woods. Let's take a little bit more off here. I mean, some interesting stuff. Freaking algos, 100% in room. I don't know, some weird fishy activity going on. That's no coincidence in my opinion. But
let's talk some Tesla robotaxi. So did you see the videos posted on X over the week, or not the weekend? I keep feeling it's a weekend. Oh yeah, the last couple of days, Christmas and Christmas Eve. You didn't see what happened?
No,
it's like the only social media platform you go on, bro.
And I don't even go on it out.
I don't even go on it. All right, well then you didn't see this. So, lots of people are posting videos of themselves sitting in the rear seat of Model Ys, and there's nobody in the front seat. So it's not a safety driver in the passenger seat, and there's nobody in the driver's seat. So many different speculative theories coming out. One, that we're going to get an expansion of the robotaxi. I would say that that's the least speculative of the theories. The more speculative is there's going to be an over-the-air software update for the regular FSD to change it from supervised to unsupervised.
Yeah.
And that's going to be crazy. If that comes, I'm telling you right now, this thing is going to rocket.
Yeah,
from unsupervised to supervised to unsupervised. And that's what everybody's showing. And some guy as well from the company did a door-to-door. So he's like, every year leave, I think he's in Philly or something like that, and he goes to like Boston to visit his mom Dukes, and he takes the family with him. And he's like, every year we do the trip. And every year I engage FSD. Before it was like version 13, now it's 14 point something. He's like, there is at least 5 to 10 interventions that I do on that 200-300 mile route or whatever. Zero interventions this time. Same route, by the way.
Same route.
So a lot of speculation that you're going to get an OTA update, over-the-air software update to convert it from supervised to unsupervised. What do you guys think, man? I mean, can we throw that? Can we throw it in the chat, Ram? Let's say plus or minus 6 months. Let's just say plus or minus 6 months. We get an OTA over-the-air software update to change it from supervised to unsupervised full self-drive. I want to see what everybody thinks. We'll have to wait. Again, all of this is speculation. We don't know, but we've seen the videos. We just don't know what the next move is for the company, whether that's more of a robo-taxi thing. I know, Fabian, I get it. He's off with the timing. I'm not going to challenge you on that at all. He clearly is.
Isn't this what we expect from Tesla?
I know, but when you actually see it, I think that I don't think it's going to be a sell the news event personally when we see that to switch it from supervised to unsupervised. I don't think that that's a sell the news event. I could be wrong. But.
No, not at all. But otherwise, how are we going to get to an $8 trillion market cap by selling cars?
Well, yes, of course. We're talking about other things. But one piece at a time. We're just talking about unsupervised FSD. Yeah,
but what I'm getting at is I think that is what leads him to those milestones.
Well,
right?
There's lots of other stuff.
Yeah, there's obviously robotics and everything, energy storage. But in the bulk of it, I think it has to be that and the scalability.
I don't disagree with you. I think robotaxi is going to be absolutely key. No question about it. Let's see what some people have to say in the chat, man. I want to see what you guys are saying. Some of these Tesla deliveries around here would be better off with the car doing the driving. I love 1320 Wolf, man. It's already crazy with the latest update. I put Mad Max mode on. King Clutch, let me ask you something. A lot of people are talking smack about this Mad Max update or setting within FSD 14.0. I'm hearing that it changes lanes way too much and it makes you look like an asshole to everybody else on the road.
Mad Max.
I know, but Joey, within the realm of, within an acceptable standard. Let me know, King Clutch, because it looks like you're already using it. I'd like to hear your opinion specifically about that whole thing. I am not thrilled with my FSD, says Sergio. Okay, great. I want to hear the other perspective as well. But Sergio, my man, tag me. Are you on the latest one, the 14.0? Also, what's your hardware version? Is it 3 or is it 4? I'd love to hear back from you as well. So tag me. 5, it's not out yet. Fabian, you're killing me. Just don't use the unsupervised version in the rain. 6 months, plus or minus 6 months, full FSD. Yeah, good enough, Ram. I'm just going to click yes on that. Carlos says, just don't use the unsupervised version in the rain or driving towards the sun. Okay, I see your perspective there, of course, because it is a camera system only and not LiDAR. It can get bamboozled, but we saw it drive in the dark, man, when the Waymos were panicking. So a little this, a little that. Our Kangala, unsupervised FSD is more than $99 on Tesla. We'll see. We'll see. But yes, I do like what you're going. I do like your thinking there.
See what Shay said?
What did Shay say?
Mad Max mode is crazy.
That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
But it's like,
it definitely makes you look like a JA.
Yeah.
But it also does 20 miles per hour over the speed
That's
limit.
fantastic. That's what a guy, Elon. Only Elon would do something like this, bro. Everybody else would color within the lines. Elon doesn't give a you-know-what, man. What a guy. FSD, not FSD. I don't know what that means. Let's see what else people are saying. Ichiro thinks it will. Sergio says, my Tesla stopped in a 4-way interception with FSD. No, thank you. What does interception mean? You mean intersection?
Yeah.
Okay, 4-way intersection. It stopped in a 4-way intersection. But tag me, brother. Let me know what version you're using. Again, I think I asked you that. Or Shay, okay, so that's the thing you were talking about there. Jacques says, the ultimate plan has always been to get an Optimus to drive all the Tesla cars. I don't think you're going to need an Optimus, brother. I think it's going to drive themselves. Let's see what else people are saying. These approvers are the one Elon playing nice with Trump. Huh? Yeah, well, I'm not disagreeing with you on that. I trust my life with FSD already, says Hangry Wife. Hangry Wife's already told me that FSD is killing it. So I did know that. Yeah, but GSIT is rocketing up here, Joey. So it keeps going, guys. It's really, really up there. So we're going to wet the beak here at 55s, but it's got a high day of 60. So great strength on GSIT, excuse me, as that one continues to go. King Clutch, he's like, I've only used it more since the last update, and it's free for me until January 6th. I didn't even know that Mad Max was going to be an extra payment. I just thought it was going to be included with FSD. Okay, I had no idea. That's what these guys.
I would
bro,
be Mad Max
these
24/7, man. Just keep it on that mode.
You're a funny guy. Can I say something to you?
Yeah, absolutely.
They always figure out a way when you're in a subscription plan to add a premium to that subscription plan. Man. Case in point, Duolingo. So Duo, I paid for Duo for the year. Hold on, I got Duolingo, whatever Pro, whatever the hell it's called. And now within Pro, they've got this AI thing where you can talk to this weird-looking bear, right? Who speaks back to you, and then you got to pay extra for that.
That's how it is, man. The
like
tiered,
no thanks, I'll just use ChatGPT, bro.
The tiered paid system. Oh, did you see that you can play chess on Duolingo against real individuals now?
No, I didn't. I don't use. I know you're all about that life.
Yeah, I like playing chess on there. So I was playing chess against. Screw the bear. Who said screw the bear?
Oh man. Okay, guys. California is one big subscription service. Wait until you live here, baby.
Oh,
you guys think you have bad taxes over there?
Yeah, you guys have no idea.
Come over here.
And they don't have the snow peso. At least you guys have the American dollar at the end of the day.
Darkside 907, LOL, if someone crashes into you while you are reading a magazine, sleeping in the back, you are going to have a hard time proving it wasn't your fault, even if it wasn't. But they'll know, brother, that the FSD was engaged. Like, the car tracks all of that, right? You know that. I mean, that's just basic stuff, right? Bovin is saying SOPA is moving up. So this is not one I had my eyes on. Let's take a look at SOPA for the OG, Bovin. Oh, not a bad look there, Bovin. Yeah, a little bit light on volume, but I do see your point. 1.91 million shares on $1.50 name, but it is up a very respectable 35%. And as you can see, with the respect that it has for the green line there, the 10 EMA on the 5, breaking through 150. I'd pick this up at 150, Bovin, for a hold of a key area of technical resistance before. If this dips into 150, I'd be putting a buy order just right there, and you can give it like 5 pennies to below 145. But I'd look for that 150 to hold. We'll see what it ends up doing. A good call out there.
New high of the day.
Carl Gruen. I only use standard FSD mode. It still takes too long to adapt to new speed and changes lane often in the last third of a mile before a turn, and sometimes cannot make it. That is the only downside I see. So I'm seeing the exact opposite online with the latest 14.2 update. They're saying that the lane changes are lightning fast now. So before, my understanding was FSD would put on the indicator, it would wait 2-3 seconds, make sure all was well, and then it would go ahead into the lane. Now it checks the lane before it even puts the indicator on to see if it's free or not. So literally it puts on the indicator and then you find it turning into the lane. People say it feels a lot more natural, more like a human would be driving. Again, I don't have any of this. Katina Man has got the Tesla, not myself. So tag me if that's just cap or there's legitimate truth to behind that, because this is all stuff I'm seeing online, guys. So King Clutch says, yes, definitely notice the change in that. That's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing the lane changes are a lot more cleaner. They're a lot more human-like, Joey. So yeah, we'll see. Hangry Wife, yeah, FSD drives better than me, and I have had 0 accidents over 15 years. Good on you. I hope it stays that way. Yeah, just for your health. Nobody wants to be in accidents.
Yeah, and your insurance.
It is now 2 o'clock.
And your insurance too. You don't want to.
What do you got planned for the weekend?
I'm gonna be on a beach in a span of a couple of hours.
You're leaving tonight.
Tomorrow morning.
Tomorrow morning.
Yeah. So by.
Where are you heading, Joey?
Going to the great place of Tulum.
Tulum. So you're landing in the Coon?
I'm landing in the Coon. We're meeting up with a bunch of friends from Austin, Texas. Shout out Austin.
Gotta ask him about FSD, obviously.
Yeah, well, Bobby. It
Gotta
was
have
Bobby.
him.
Remember Bobby was
Yeah,
on the
of course.
show? Yeah,
TikTok
he said they're rolling around over there.
Of
So,
course, right? That's the spot.
Yeah, I mean, so yeah, we're gonna go meet up with them, and then yeah, we're gonna go on a nice little boat cruise, and yeah.
Ooh, it's a boost cruise, isn't it?
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. I'm not even.
I love it. Like, I don't give up.
Yeah.
It's a boost cruise.
Yeah, we're gonna.
Attaboy, Joey. Hope you have a lot of fun, brother.
I
be
appreciate
safe,
that.
man.
Yeah,
Be safe, be
exactly.
good.
So,
and get in some